of them. You're wasting all your time and money on models. Paint what you have. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Model Club TV, episode 44. 44. I'm excited to tell you I am your new host, Jamie Jennings. And as always, the fabulous Mr. Scott Johansson.
Yeah, what's going on? What's happening here?
I'm the new host of the show. We're going to change things up a little bit.
Well, so far it looks better to me, but that's just me.
Thank you. We're going to throw in some new stuff. I'm going to talk about some antique toys and some other vintage crap that I collect.
That's awesome. We always need new stuff. People are probably tired of hearing about model kits and 3D printing. So what do you got?
Well, actually, first I want to talk about movies.
Oh, boy.
We can do that.
No, we never do that. Go ahead. Whatever.
Wait.
What would you like to talk about?
Have you seen any new ones lately?
What did I watch the other night? I thought I watched a movie the other day. Oh, you know what I watched? I watched The Sting with Paul Newman and Robert Redford. And I had never seen it. And it was okay, but I don't think it was as great as they...
I think I've only seen parts of that one.
Yeah.
Not all of it.
But I think that's the only thing I've seen.
Okay.
So
I don't think I've watched any new movies lately. I kind of want to watch the new Jackass movie just because I've seen all the other ones. But
what a good reason to want to see another.
No, I mean, it's just stupid. I like stupid stuff. But
yeah, that's apparent.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No.
But I haven't really...
Is he tied up down there somewhere? Is he tied up? Jason, have you tied Jason up? And
who's Jason?
Jason who? Okay. I'm good with that.
No. I have no idea where he's at. I don't care. This is my show now.
Okay.
Anyway, I haven't seen any new movies, but I have been watching a new show, Euphoria. Have you heard of it?
I have not.
It is insane. It's terrifying. I'm so glad that I don't have children. It's so scary. The stuff these kids are doing in high school. I can't believe it. It's insane. But that's about it. I've been super busy, so.
The two of you watch anything normal? I mean,
no.
it's okay.
What's normal?
So did you watch our episode with our top movie lists?
I watched part of it, but
okay.
I made up my own little list because I needed to throw in some, like, a different type of list. You know,
I see.
From a female. So I wrote some down. So
I thought Jason did that with The Wizard of Oz and playing Dorothy when he was a kid. But.
So I was like, hey, I want to do a movie list. So I wrote some down. And it's not all chick flicks. There's like one chick flick, I think.
Okay, the Jamie list.
Yeah. So let's. I'm curious if you've seen many of these. Okay, they're not really in order of how I would rank them. They're just like my top movies. So first, I have Kill Bill.
Tarantino.
Yeah.
I have seen most of it. So.
Most of it. You have to watch both. There's one and two.
It's
I
like
just a continuing story.
I know. It was just I don't know.
So anyway, I really don't even like Tarantino, but I love Kill Bill. That's like one of my favorite movies.
Okay.
Poltergeist.
The original?
Yes. No.
Okay.
No number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11, whatever. Just original 80s awesome Poltergeist.
Poltergeist. I did see. I actually saw it in the theater.
Oh,
how's that?
I did not. But
want to hear a quick Poltergeist story?
Sure.
This is a great story. My wife's going to kill me. So they remade it recently, right? Like in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So she wanted to see it. So I rented it from Redbox and brought it home. And so I brought food home with it. So she puts the DVD in. And I come into my little office here and I'm eating and I eat. I go back out. And I go, well, how's the movie? And she goes, I don't know. She goes, this is the longest intro to a movie I've ever seen. It's got all these hands going on the screen and all that. And I finally looked at her and I said, did you press play? And she goes, what do you mean? I go, you're in the menu. Okay.
Oh,
and it was one of those looping menus. She's like, bastards.
No,
bastards.
I'm very technology challenged most of the time. So
But you can identify.
I
You
would
could,
totally do something like that.
yeah, it was funny as hell. So,
That's awesome. All
longest
right.
intro to a movie ever. All right, let's go. Poltergeist.
Okay.
I've seen it.
Poltergeist.
So far, I've
Okay.
seen both of your
Okay.
movies.
So here's my chick flick, and it's a John Hughes film, and I do love all the John Hughes films. They're all from around Chicago. Breakfast Club.
I've seen Breakfast Club.
Okay. And Jason, that jerk, says it's such a dumb movie, and it's like one of my favorites, and he rips on it all the time.
Did you see his list?
Yeah, I mean, I like some of his lists, but
This is why he's out and Jamie's in. Okay.
all right.
So I'm 3 for 3 on
Okay.
Jamie's list.
E.T.
I've seen it.
A lot
It's
of the
not one of my
80s.
favorites, but
I'm a
I've seen it.
huge 80s fan, so E.T. is definitely one of the best movies from the 80s. Better Off Dead.
I have not seen that.
Okay, you have to see that movie. It's so
Oh, I
funny.
have to.
Yes, John Cusack. There's a really good cast in it. Good. Stand By Me.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, you've seen a lot of my movies. The Shining.
I have seen The Shining. It's not one of my favorites, but I have seen it.
I love The Shining.
Most of it. I don't know that I've seen it start to finish, but I think I've seen enough of it too.
And then I had a really hard time. I actually wrote down 11 movies because I had a really hard time. Like,
you'll be penalized.
so I will. Okay. Well, so most people are probably going to be like, huh, on this one, but I love a really good heist movie. And I love the movie Italian Job. Have you seen that?
I have not, but I would assume it sounds like a porn movie.
No, I know. It's got Charlize Theron, Mark Wahlberg. It's got a really big cast actually, and it's just a really good, detailed, crazy story of a money heist. I think it's really good.
So, of all your movies, I've only not seen really 2, maybe 3.
Okay.
So that's not too bad.
The number 11. I'm just gonna say it. I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan, so The Wall, and it's like a musical kind of. It's very theatrical. But have you seen The Wall?
I've not seen The Wall, but
too. Very good.
I did go see Roger Waters at Wrigley Field perform The Wall.
Nice.
So
That's
there
awesome.
you go. That was awesome.
Jason and I saw Roger Waters a couple summers ago, at United Center. It was a good show. I was kind of disappointed. He did a lot of political stuff, but whatever. What celebrities are these days?
He's like that. I actually so when I went, I had a friend of mine that's very, very right wing. And we don't do politics on the show too much, but he's very right wing. And I had an extra ticket. I bought 2 tickets. So I said to him, you want to go with? Because I knew he was a Pink Floyd fan. And he hemmed and hawed, and he finally came back and said, no, I can't. He goes, I'm just too whatchamacallit, he's too political for me and all that. And I'm like, well, I said, I understand that. I said, but you're going for the music, and all that music of that period really was very political.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you're a fan of classic rock at all, okay, if you're conservative at all, you can't. You can't listen to any of it because you're not going to agree with the message per se. But it's I can get past it, and it's like entertain me.
Exactly.
And
and
so I ended up taking my brother-in-law. He went with, and he really enjoyed it. And it was really good to see him do The Wall, especially. Like, I'm not that interested in his solo stuff or any of that. So it was just The Wall start to finish, and the whole theatrical build the wall, and at the end knock the wall down and all that.
That's very cool.
It was really cool. So there you go. So I've kind of seen the premise, but I haven't seen the movie. So.
You should watch the movie though. It's really cool. It kind of jumps all over the place, but it's a good, very well put together, I think. So.
There you go. And Jason didn't even recognize the Pink Floyd song in one of the trailers for, I think it was Dune.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of the trailers had a Pink Floyd, and he didn't even recognize what it was.
I didn't know that. I'll have to give him crap about it.
Yep.
Anyway,
so that's your top 10 movie. Yeah. All right, so what are we going to talk about?
Okay.
Or what are your top 11 movies?
I brought some fun little things in that I just want to show you some recent finds of my toys. Okay, so my biggest toy thing my biggest collection of antique toys or vintage toys are the Fisher Price Little People, and they're all over the house. They're everywhere. And I also collect other Fisher Price, like old pull toys, um,
Mm.
just all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I brought
I
some
had the
little.
Snoopy dog when I was a kid.
Yeah, yeah, I have a couple of those. I brought down a little cuties, some little cuties. You guys
Look
probably
at
recognize.
that.
This is Butch.
Well, Butch don't look too happy.
No, he's always got a pissed off
No.
look.
And Butch is at
So,
a, but he looks like he's in pretty good shape.
yeah,
Butch, I mean,
yeah, yeah.
for
His hat's a little chewed up, which happens a lot 'cause these toys are from the 70s and 80s. So,
and most kids
kids,
put them in their
dogs,
mouth anyway.
yeah.
So.
But so, fun little fact, it's hard to find. This is a pretty common one. It's hard to find him with the hat to the side of his head. And I do have a couple of those, but see how the bill's in the front of his
Yep.
head.
So what's
So,
something like that run? What's a Butch run?
um,
What can you get a Butch for?
I mean, it really, really depends where you're purchasing. People on eBay are ridiculous, and they'll try to
Mhm.
charge like $25 for this one little guy. If you find him at a flea market or a garage sale, um, even possibly like Etsy, it's a little bit better. Some of the sellers on Etsy, two, three, $4 or $5, something like that.
So
So,
what's the best find you've had at a garage sale or at a flea market where like you got something and you're like, man, I know this is worth like a lot of money, but I got it for like $2 or something.
so the most recent really great find I can think of, Jason and I went to the I-80 flea market in Tinley. Was it last summer? I've also a big vintage holiday collector and like vintage blow molds that people put out in the yard. I don't put mine in
Mhm.
the yards because I'm afraid they'll get stolen or the wind will blow them away or whatever. But there's a really large snowman that I wanted, and it's usually like $100 or more, anywhere you find it. And this guy had it up on top of his truck at the flea market, and he wanted like $20 for it. I'm like, give it. So,
If he said 20 off the bat, just so you know, you're supposed to haggle. Say, how about
oh,
10?
but I know that thing's worth way more than
I
that.
know it's hard. I did that one time. I
Right.
found something that I knew was worth about 150 and the guy had it for 35. My
Oh
buddy's
wow.
with me. He goes, let me haggle with the guy and get it for
Yeah.
25. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, it's worth $150. Let me pay the guy the 35 and run away.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I know, and the flea market people, they really want to leave with less stuff. So
oh
they
yeah.
they will definitely work with you. They want to get rid of it. So, but anyway, and then here's another little cutie. She's so cute.
He's so cute. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some that are like rare colors and rare color combinations. Like there's a magenta colored body with like brown hair that's really hard to find. There's a bunch of different ones that are kind of hard to find,
So,
but
is there a price guide for these things? Like,
um
comics have a price guide.
like
I
the
mean, a lot
rare.
of collectibles.
Oh, like a guide.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a couple books, but the pricing is from like when they came out.
Okay.
So it shows like what they were when they came out in the stores in like the 80s or whatever. So I don't know if there's any kind of like updated, since they're considered vintage now, for
Mm.
pricing. I'm not sure. They also made a bunch of knockoffs. There was a bunch of companies that made knockoffs of Fisher Price, so I have a bunch of those too because I think they're cute. And this is one. She's actually not Fisher Price, but
She got a plastic body.
yeah, she's all plastic. Actually, these ones are too. I do have wooden ones. The wooden ones are older, but the ones that I just grabbed to show you guys are plastic. So
Hmm.
anyway, so that's some of
When did
my
they make the
people.
switch? Do you know when they went
Uh,
from plastic
like
to?
late 70s, early 80s, they started to switch. They used to be all wood, like everything was wood, and
Mhm.
then they switched to um plastic. What was it? It was plastic head, wooden body, and then they switched to all plastic after that. So
How many
yeah,
have you found that someone's dog is chewed on?
a lot, a lot. Actually, I don't know where they're at. Somewhere in this mess of paint, we had some I call them like zombie ones that are super chewed up or super color,
Uh-huh.
they were laid out in the sun or something and they're really pale. And I want Jason to help me make some customs out of those because they're already ruined anyway. We might as well like do
Mm.
something fun with them. So there was some laying around here. I don't see them.
All right.
Uh, but
So
anyway,
any of our listeners, if you have any of this stuff laying around, you know, let's send it in for Jamie
yeah.
because Jason's gone, so you need to start kissing
Although,
ass from some new folks, you know.
although I don't have a whole lot of room left. We have a
Well,
small house, and I have
you
so
know
much
what?
stuff.
Here's the problem. You got rid of him. Get rid of the models. Okay. Get rid of this shit. I'll help
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Okay.
There's
We don't need him. Okay. We we he's
sounds good.
got to go. Okay.
Sounds good. Okay.
I mean, you could come to Wonderfest. You could be at the table. Okay. You could be the eye candy at the table.
I know.
I'll tell you what, I'll put my title aside. I'm usually the eye candy at the table, but I'll put the eye candy
I
aside.
know I've been
You
told I'm not allowed to go there, but maybe
Now
one year I'll just show up anyway.
that's some bullshit.
So
Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
So also, I just wanted to show you, I've been really into these vintage 50s squeak toys. They're not dog toys, but they're squeak toys. And this is one. She's so cute.
She sounds like Jason.
I know. So there's a couple companies that made a bunch of different squeak toys, and some people think they look creepy, but I think they're super cute. And now I have a bunch of them. So
I don't think
yeah,
they're creepy.
I think they're cute. And then one last thing I was going to show you.
Okay.
I just started collecting these Space Galaxy syrup guys.
Space Galaxy syrup
Syrup. So they were
guys.
like flavored syrups to use in drinks or on
Okay.
like shaved ice or ices or whatever.
What
Uh-huh.
the? What are you doing? Hello, and welcome to Model Club TV, episode 44. Uh-huh. What was that about, Scott? What are these
What?
things? Why? What is this?
Well, those
I don't
those
even understand.
are flavored juice bottles.
Did you guys plan this or something, or was what like?
What the hell was that?
April Fools, everybody. We've been planning that. All right. Thank you to
Should have
Jamie
been
for
episode
playing
4-1 for
Yeah.
April Fools, but no, here we are. We should have planned that out better.
Yeah.
Episode 41 could have been our April Fools.
Yeah. Oh man, that would have been cool. Oh, next time. Yeah, no, there won't be a next time. 141.
So if you made it those 15 minutes, here we are.
So anyway, how are you, Scott?
Well, I'm great.
Yeah,
Now,
we'll just
I
kinda-
will say the last host was much better looking
Oh,
than
you
this.
son of a.
Okay.
I'm very pretty.
So, and she forgot to show her shirt because I was hoping she'd do it, because she had her John Hughes shirt on.
You were hoping she was doing what?
Here's my shirt,
Sure, that's what you were hoping.
That's what I was hoping.
All right. Good for some jacks. All right. Get it. Well, we got a giveaway. Real quick, let's get this out of the way. So,
One giveaway, two giveaways.
we have a
10
bunch of giveaways this time. So,
a gazillion giveaways.
we had a mystery donor again.
I
The
love
mystery donor for the original kaiju models that came in, and then a second kaiju model turned up. Not second, a second mystery donor donated another kaiju.
Well, there
And
you
it's
go.
a leftover,
Kaiju.
I think, bust. I want to keep it.
Oh, one of those. Don't
it's
you
one of
hate those?
I hate it. So this is, I think, a piece to another Godzilla kit that wasn't used. Look at this.
Wow.
This is a nice Godzilla bust you can do something with. And it comes with the spines and all of that. So, I think it does. It comes with parts of it. So, what we're going to do is, just like before, I'm pulling 4 names. You're not going to know which kaiju you're going to get. So, we have that Godzilla bust. We have the Gamera bust. We have the Rodan bust / head. We have, actually, it's going to be more than that. The little Godzilla. And we have the little Gamera. And we have the big Godzilla. So that's 2, 4, 5.
Boy, that's going to be a lot of math for you.
I
Yeah.
hate you. So I'm just pulling 5 names.
Okay. Can I say something while you're pulling these
Sure.
names? Okay. Next time we put, say, Jaeger Army or something, and you put Godzilla instead of Jaeger Army, we're not going to enter you. Follow the directions, damn it.
Directions are important. I think I got 5.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Nope. Wait, I didn't look. I took 1 too many. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Didn't look.
Kaiju giveaway.
Vince Simonelli, Frank Fernandez, Jim McFarlane, MB Really. That was the YouTube name, and Paul Gill. So finally, after all those donations, Paul Gill finally won something. So You'll be getting some kaijus, and they're on their way. All right, next giveaway.
Yay for Paul Gill.
Excellent, and congratulations to everyone who won.
Yes.
The next one was for your horror DVD.
That right
dun, dun, dun.
The horror DVDs?
Horror DVDs.
Not horror DVDs. Those will be next episode.
Okay. You threw me. If you won one of the kaijus, I will not take your name out of here. You can't win both. CG Blade.
Not sending those to him.
CG Blade is going in.
I can't wait to send these to him.
And that's going to, CG is awesome.
Let me get my box of white powder.
He has also donated a ton of stuff to us, too.
Yes, he has. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. So here we go. We have the Jaeger Army, the Stomp giveaway. Stomp. So from Jeff Yeager. Uh-oh. One fell in my coffee. Laura Stan. Look at this.
Laura Stan. Yay. Look at all the great donors have.
Holy cow. That's crazy. Okay.
And who's drowning in your coffee?
The person in my coffee is Jim McFarlane.
Oh, sorry, Jim.
Yeah,
you don't want to kaiju, Jim. What do you want me to tell you?
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we had that mystery donor also donated these, but they come from this person. I'm going to read the description of these that we're going to give away. You didn't even know we were giving these away today. We have 2 monster magnets.
A lot happened today. I didn't know.
I know. Yeah, I didn't know either. Look at these.
Ooh, I want those too.
And they come with the magnets. So these are pretty cool. So
the Nosferatu is really cool.
Let me read this. Gonna be where'd it go?
That's what he wrote?
Nope. There are 2 real gems, cartoony busts of Frankenstein monster and the Nosferatu-like Dracula. They have magnets already built into the back. They were a gift from French sculptor Patrick Prudent, Pat Muria on the Clubhouse. And better news, he got an email. This person got an email from Patrick from France who sculpted both of these. He's been battling cancer for the last couple of years, and he kind of got over it. He's back to like posting again and kind of on the mend. So it's great to see that we got these from him. And thank you to our mystery donor for donating them. So what I'm going to do,
and get well soon, Pat. So get soon.
Yeah. Should we give them both to the same person, or should we do 2 different ones?
Ooh, let's pull 2 different ones.
Okay.
Why not? Why don't you just run that shipping bill up? You've got them. I don't.
Oh crap! I think I have everything. All right. So
I have the DVDs and the Stomp.
That's true. So I've been saving a lot of the people that didn't win. I've been dumping them in here for like the last few giveaways. So ones that didn't win from there.
Yeah. I'm glad Jim won, because otherwise he'd be in your coffee. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I know. All right. So we're pulling 2. And if it's somebody who's won multiple times, I'm going to re-pull. Okay?
Okay.
Mike Kelch. You are going to get the monster magnet. I'll try and get a hold of you. If I can't get a hold of you by the next episode, we will re-pull again. For Nosferatu magnet.
Or get a hold of us. Or
Yeah, or get a hold of us. Email us, modelclubtv@gmail.com. Okay, here we go. This person has won already today. Dwayne Dalton. Dwayne Dalton
Yay.
getting the Nosferatu magnet. So thank you to our mystery donor.
If either of you don't want them, let us know and we'll run it next time.
Okay, cool. We got that settled. Whew. Giveaways done. Thank you to everyone who donated. We deeply appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who participates in the comments. We appreciate that as well. So,
I sure do.
Yeah. On to the episode.
I would like to address, first of all, our good friend Spike, who, if you're not in the clubhouse, it's really a shame because he does some great artwork that is usually related to the episode. And at last week's episode, he put Jason on Dorothy's body in The Wizard of Oz. And
yes, he did.
that was, yeah. And then my good friend Scuzz Fink. Okay. Going to give him a shout out. And because, he was really busting my balls here. Mike Kelch liked my list, by the way, so I'm glad he won. Okay, hold on, I'm just looking through these real quick. He gave me a little crap about worshiping false gods and that I think the Groovy Ghoulies is high-end art or something. Okay. So I have to be clear. Okay. Because I like the movie doesn't mean I worship it. Okay. And so there. And then second, the Groovy Ghoulies are high art. No, they're not high art. It's and I think what a lot of these kids from your generation and up don't get is
Gen X.
This is pop culture. And pop culture with baby boomers is I don't think you're ever going to see stuff collectible like the baby boomer stuff. Okay. Stuff's going to be collectible. Like Jamie showed, there's going to be some collectability out there.
Star Wars.
Okay. And Star Wars stuff.
G.I. Joe.
But don't forget, Star Wars still touched into the baby boomers a little bit. Because,
Ninja Turtles, He-Man, Transformers.
And that's the transition out. Yeah. Okay. And then it's going to go to video games. Video games are going to be collectible.
Yeah, they are.
And
they are now.
And they are now to a point. A lot of them are, yes. So, but I don't think you're going to have quite what you have because the baby boomers, we were fortunate enough to have the monster craze.
Uh-huh.
Because in the late 50s is when they started showing the monster movies on TV and renewed all this interest. And then you went into the Aurora models and Famous Monsters of Filmland and all that. And then you had another one. Okay. And, I'm going to go, it's the 4 Bs. And the first one you're not going to like, but the Beatles. Okay. The Beatles, beyond their music, were a pop culture phenomenon.
Here we go again.
Okay.
I don't not.
Whatever. We're not spending a lot of time on your whole.
Yeah, we're running long already because of that.
Okay.
One.
So, I love her. I hope she comes on every episode. So, the other B is Batman. Okay. And you had the huge Batman craze in the 60s. It was Batman everything. Okay. And you had the other B, the third B, James Bond. Okay. So you had these iconic pop culture things that even started at the end of the 60s, which still goes today, which was Star Trek.
Yeah.
Okay. So much. I just don't think the generations after that are going to have as much. I'm not saying they're not going to have anything.
No.
But they're not going to have as much.
Especially kids these days.
Then kids, as they've gotten older, they don't use their imaginations to play.
Nope.
Okay.
I know that firsthand. They don't use their imagination at all most of the time.
So
anyway,
when I was a kid, I could sit there with something like this thing that I printed. I could take this in a pen and make this a spaceship, make the pen a spaceship and this some space dragon. And I could make a little adventure in 20 minutes when I was a kid, And the kids today,
no,
they do this. Okay, I'm bored.
Yep.
Never touch that thing again.
That's so. True. That is very true.
So yeah, so I just think that don't be so hard on me, Scuzz. Come on.
Nah, I think he's a ball buster.
I know
You should
he
see
is.
the
He
emails I
is.
don't read from it. Okay, I have a couple of things to show real quick before we go on. This will be in the gallery at the end, and there's going to be actually some really cool stuff in the gallery at the end, especially from Vlad Petnicki sent in some stuff that he kit bashed and Bill Monster Jones painted. There's some other really good stuff in there as well. So we have this really cool piece from Jeff Lamont. He won it on our show, and I love when people win stuff and then paint stuff that they won. So this was from Hang Hilger, the Poison Ivy, and Jeff Lamont painted it. Here it is. Done. He already beat Scott for the amount of models painted this year. So good job. We have, they're sending me the pet pictures, Scott. So we have,
and I got none this week. So
I got Brian Clark's dog, Olive.
Oh, I thought that was Brian Clark.
Oh, man. Just wait, we got a nice email from Brian. And then we have Dan Cherney, his cat, Frida Kahlo, and Pirate. Man, a lot of these guys have Sphinx cats, the hairless cats. Cool.
Because they're allergic. I told my wife she could get one because, I'm allergic to cats.
No, you're still going to be allergic to them because it's still.
Well, yeah, because I'm allergic. Well, it's not the dander, it's their saliva I'm allergic to, actually.
Oh, yeah, me too. And they're oily. Those things you have to they're weird. Okay. That's the pet pictures. But I want to talk about Dan Cherney for a second. Loyal viewer. Going through surgery this week, right? And, just positive thoughts out to Dan. And I hope you're on the mend. I think right now, he probably should have had it.
Dan, I hope your Saturn's on the mend too.
Yeah. So as soon as
I
he was
don't know
going
if you saw that.
Yep,
yeah, I think Dan's screen went
right as he was getting ready for surgery. So.
Right as he's getting ready for surgery. So I hope that Dan mends up well, and we hope that his Saturn mends up weird too.
Yeah. News and reviews.
News and reviews.
All right. First, this is just something I found. I have a new favorite painter. And this is, I want to spell his name, say his name right.
Kigo
Murakami.
Murakami?
Yep. He's actually, because one of my favorite artists is Takashi Murakami, so I know how to say the last name. So I'm guessing Kigo Murakami. And I'm not going to spoil it, but please go follow him on Instagram, go follow him on Facebook, and just look at the work he churns out. I found it on accident, and I just this is Asuka from Neon Genesis Evangelion. If we did a top 10 anime, that would be number one. This to me is stellar. Like, it just all of his work. So please go follow him on Instagram. I'll put a link up down below for people to follow him. But just great, awe-inspiring work, and holy cow. You like that, Scott?
It's nice to see an anime that
looks kind of real, right?
Well, yeah, it doesn't have the big giant boobs or the big giant ass. And is half dressed and all that.
I love it. I love that thing. Moving on, I showed you Kutan last week, the Patreon I joined. This is his first file, his first model this month, and it is the Angel of Verdun. And I have a feeling Scott has not seen this movie, which is a Tom Cruise movie called Edge of Tomorrow. And they wear these kind of exosuits. And it's a Tom Cruise movie that I actually enjoyed. And Emily
Was it on your list? Was it on your top 10?
No, but I enjoyed it. But Emily Blunt.
By the way, I saw all but 2 of Jamie's top 10.
Oh, really?
I'm just saying. Yes.
Simpletons for simple times.
Right. Let's watch Lord of the Rings again for 5 hours.
But Emily Blunt, however, is on my top 10. And this is Emily Blunt. And she's fantastic in the movie. And he just nailed the likeness, the suit, everything. It's such a cool piece. Again, check out Patreon, Kutan Sculpts.
How much does that cost you?
This Patreon, this is $9.50 a month. So I get this. Plus, I think there's 2 more models coming out this month. And so this one, you get a bust and the full figure. I can't remember off the top of my head what the next ones are that are coming. So if you just put that into Garage Kit terms, I'm getting 5, potentially 4 models more, I think, because they'll probably be busts as well for $10 a month,
Okay. And figure at the most, that's going to be how much to print?
10, maybe, depending on how big I make it. It just,
That's my next question was going to be, what's the scale? So
I have a feeling they're 6 scale. or
But again,
probably a little smaller. I think it's smaller.
The
But
joy
that's
of 3D
fine. I want
printing.
smaller stuff. You can make it whatever you
Yeah,
want.
the joy of 3D printing is you can make the size you want.
Yeah, and
I want to touch on this bus thing.
beautiful.
And one of the things I got, I don't know if I showed it last, and if I didn't, we can put the picture up here. But I got Tony's Iron Man,
Oh yeah,
and I love it. It's beautiful. And
you showed it, I think.
yeah, I think I did. And I also got Russ Waddell's that I'm going to bring to him at Wonderfest. But I told Tony the other day, I said, take that Iron Man, cut it at the waist, make a cool little base for it, and sell it as a bus too.
Yeah, and that's what he's doing. And
you know,
it's great.
Tony's Tony. Tony's our Tony, and he's like,
Yep.
you know.
So next up from Pestilence Labs, just hot off the press, hot off the press.
Hot off the Prestolas.
Is Mark's Monster.
Mark's Monster. Monster Mark. So this is technically number 14 in the Aurora box art series. And the Mark Monster comes with a giant lizard head that you can alternate Mark Worthling's head for this lizard. And I believe this will come with a nameplate of some sort, but I don't know what it'll say. Anyway, sculpted by Jeff Yeager, and this thing is just beautiful. For any of you that have this particular Aurora kit, the Mark Monster Aurora kit, this is spot on. When I first saw this, and I looked at the transition from the scaling on the front, how it kind of goes to real Godzilla scaling on the arm and the back, I was like, what are you doing there, Jeff? But if you look at the box, there it is.
Yeah.
It's how it is. Same with the tail. The way the tail kind of comes around, and it's got that weird, Mark Monster tail going there. And I'm wondering if this Mark Monster stole any of my ideas. Well, took any of my ideas and make any money with them. So I'm not quite sure. I do know this though. I don't want to. I don't want to harp on the subject. Okay. But apparently Mark and Shanna went on a cruise, and Shanna got a new diamond ring that I helped pay for with my idea. I'm just saying. Okay. So there you go. But so as long as he spent some of the money on Shanna, I'm okay.
Very good.
Right. This is too, I want to say, when Mark picked up this line of kits, and I know I've said it before, I always loved this line of kits. I always thought this line of kits was a great idea. And Monsters in Motion just never finished them. And being a completist and a fan of the old Aurora stuff, I was like, if I can't have them all, I don't want them.
Yeah. And
so once Mark picked up the line and decided he was going to do all of them, I, of course, went back and got all the old ones. So now I have a complete line of these.
So out of all the Aurora kits, which one do you think came closest to the box art itself? I think this one's damn close. Which one do you think came closest in the original thing? Not Mark's stuff, but the original.
Okay, so if we're talking about the original 13 monsters.
Yeah.
Okay. This one definitely
it's close.
Came the closest to looking like what you got in the box. Okay. And probably the second one I would say would be the Forgotten Prisoner.
Yeah. That might even be more than this.
So it's because I think that model was made and then they did the box art. That would be an interesting question if there's any Aurora experts out there.
Yeah.
That know more than me. I wonder if that sculpt was, no, I didn't mean it like that. But if I wonder if that sculpt was done prior to, okay, here's the sculpt, make a box art to match it.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. Now there are some superhero kits that were close. But yeah, none of them were what I would call exact. Maybe some of the vehicles, but as far as the monsters, this one's right up there. Some of the monster rods actually kind of all looked like the box art, with the exception of the Wolfman's wagon. But this yeah, this is unreal, and it's, I like the forced 3D effect of the base. And, it's really the base shouldn't be your focus anyway.
Right.
And if you had a glow version of this particular kit, I don't even think you saw the whole tail. And honestly, even if you had the long box, I don't think you saw the whole tail. But if you saw the artwork without any of the lettering or anything, I think that's when you could pick up the whole tail. And this is very accurate. It was very long and came around like that.
You know what I forgot to do?
Hmm.
Push the button.
Pestilence Labs.
So there we go. Pestilence Lab.
Okay. Now, don't know what we're going to do exactly or when. And hopefully we'll be able to get our hands on some, shall we say, extra head. But we're going to have a contest. And if you choose to buy this kit and use the lizard head, and you're stuck with that ugly head that comes with it, I want to have a contest of who can do the best thing, most creative thing with that head.
Do you think Mark would maybe just sell the heads?
Hopefully he will for this contest or donate a bunch.
Yeah, so then we could do that. Yeah.
So once this kit comes out, we'll get deeper into it. But start planning. We're gonna do a contest. Now, here's
you know what this reminds me of? Do you remember the Lance Woods contest?
Yes. There was also a Larry Brackney one too.
Yeah. Yep.
So what we're going to do with this, we're going to come up with some kind of prize. Okay. And the idea of the contest is who can be the most creative and/or / funny with their Mark Worthling head. Now, couple things to go off of here that I just want to touch on.
Dude, I just had the
Let's try to keep it not X-rated.
Oh,
okay.
No!
All right.
I just had the best idea.
Did you? Well, maybe we'll have a Mark Worthling after hours.
I'll give it a. This is what instantly popped into my head, and this will tell you how messed up I am.
Because you're a sick ass.
I wanted to sculpt a birth canal, giving birth to the Mark Worthling head popping out.
That'd be great. Going.
Anyway,
so yeah, let's keep it something that we can show and not be crazy.
Damn it.
Now, this isn't necessarily about the best paint job. This isn't necessarily about, the best seam work or anything like that.
Yeah.
However, the piece is going to have to be painted. You are going to have to paint the piece.
So start thinking. Get your noodles going.
Thinking. And this is also open to the 2 Model Club TV hosts.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right. Will Mark be the judge?
Mark and his wife Shanna will be the judge.
Okay, awesome. All right. Okay. I like this. Good. Okay.
So this is coming. This is nothing right away, but start
thinking.
Planning. Yeah, this could be 6 months down the road, but
so another great release from Pestilence Labs. Well done. Well done.
It's nice to see he woke up.
All right. Yeah. From Shadow Creations, we probably don't want to say the name of these anymore either. You know what you're looking at here, right?
This is a classic, iconic scene from a 1931 classic. This is a 1/8 scale.
Well, I'm going to ask you, Scott, are you on the list already? Because I have a feeling you are.
Pretty early.
All right.
Not sure what number I am, though. I think I'm still I still got in, and I think I was only like number 19 or something. Okay. I don't know.
All right.
Or no, I'm 19 on the I'm Your Huckleberry kit, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, even though I didn't put pictures in here. We'll find the pictures. But I am on this list. I don't know how high up, but I got on pretty quick.
Okay.
This thing's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's based on, an iconic scene where Edward Van Sloan is trying to resist Lugosi's hypnotic power. And this is phenomenal.
This is just really well done.
Really phenomenal. Now, the unfortunate thing at this point is I believe the initial list is full. I believe he's already gone through 100.
I'm sure.
So
we were talking.
There might be another run or something. So
yeah, we were talking the fireplace here for people who are into making cool stuff. Like Kendall Conniff and those types, you could do a really cool fireplace thing going on in there with some lighting and some other stuff. So
Yeah, you know what? I'm going on record right now. Okay. I suggested this to Worthling already. I said someone should do a fireplace add-on for this kid. Okay. So I suggested this already. So if Pestilence Labs comes out with that and makes money, okay, that's it. I'm suing. Okay. I'm suing. That's it.
Well,
okay.
Good job, Troy and Shadow Creations. This is another stellar release here.
Yeah, and Jeff Yeager too.
And Jeff Yeager. Well, yeah, well done, sculpting.
The base is just amazing. And for people to think it is not 3D printed. From what I understand, Jeff sculpts one side and then molds it, and that's how you have two identical sides to that fireplace. And this is also pretty accurate to the film. I did do a screen grab somewhere, and this is pretty accurate to the film. So
it's beautiful. All right, up next, our first official use of the. Let's make sure this works.
Boing.
Did it work? I'm on the wrong thing. Pseudoverse Creations button worked. Yes, it did. All right, okay. Pseudoverse Creations, CG Blade. We have some of his upcoming kits that he will have at Wonderfest. These were painted. They're in progress. I think one of them is still in progress. From Rod Hickey, who's always in the gallery at the end. We have Emerald up front. Nice little girl cracking out of that tube. He's going to have lighting kits with all of these available as well that come free, I guess, with not all of them, but all of his from the Pseudoverse will have lighting kits with them. So I know Emerald will. But these are looking pretty cool. He also has a deal. I think these are pretty affordable too. So stop by his table at Wonderfest. This is Scarlett Johansson from the Ghost in the Shell movie that I absolutely despised. So he's not going to be happy with me because I don't think she should have been in the movie. It should have been an Asian person. And then we have 7 of 9 as well that he has released. Rod Hickey again, wonderful paint job. And again, stop by his table at Wonderfest. I know he's going to have all these there. And check out the Pseudoverse Creations from CG Blade. Sticking on the Star Trek.
And me and CG, we're going to wrestle on Saturday night.
Oh, wait till you hear the voicemail we got. Wait till we hear the voicemail.
We're going to wrestle in the pool.
Okay. So. Ooh, let's film that. From Killer Kits out in the UK. I saw these earlier in the week, and then I saw these other things. So we got some stuff from Killer Kits. That Kirk likeness. So we have James C. Kirk and Spock. These are some, I think, really well done busts. And I can't remember a better Kirk. Can you? I don't know.
I like the Spock better than the Kirk. I'm really? Gonna be honest. I like the Spock better than the Kirk.
Okay, then he's done something right because I like the Kirk better than the Spock.
And then different angles of the Kirk looks, then I see it better and say, they're equally as good, but they're both nice pieces.
I also did see someone just put out some 3D printed stuff. So
yes, I saw those too.
Yeah,
those are pretty interesting.
So yeah, I think these are pretty good. And then he has some Nosferatus, some Graph Warlocks, I think, coming out as well. And I think these are only going to be at that UK GKK show that's coming up, like their version of Wonderfest, sort of over there. And then he also has Dracula from Bram Stoker's Dracula, which again
which I have seen.
Which I have seen as well, and I'm not a huge fan of. But I think this is really well done.
Actually, so.
Well done, Killer Kits. Did you have anything else?
I did not. There's probably some stuff out there, but I just haven't had time.
Yeah, it's been.
I'll mention that Wells got Snagglepuss out there. So if you want to grab that photo and stick it in here, I know he put out Snagglepuss and Wally Gator.
Okay, I'll look.
And so those are the new ones, and from and those are available for 3D print.
Very cool. Okay.
And I think that's it. I did see some new stuff today that'll make next episode. Saturn's got a new Cyclops by Mick Wood out, and we'll put that up there next time so I can look at it a little better. But
Chuck again, Eagle Eye Chuck will always send me some stuff that he finds, and this is a time machine kit that I have not seen. I think it's Monsters and Motions newsletter. You got a Morlock there and him beating him with the torch, it looks like. but you get a cool time machine in there. Some new stuff. There's a Them kit that's available. Them's a good movie. Have you seen Them? Please tell me.
You know what? I saw them as a kid, and
okay,
Them is a fun movie. It's kind of dated for sure now.
And that the noise, I think when I think of Them, the noise the ant makes is like iconic. That always comes back to me. And then
yeah, but I liked Them. I remember seeing Them as a kid.
I like Them. and it's a an adult Red Riding Hood kit that he had sent in for everything. But thanks, Chuck. I love when you send me stuff that I miss sometimes because I don't.
That's true. I think that isn't that a
James Avery? Is it a James Avery kind
Tex Avery? Tex Avery.
James. Who's James Avery?
Yes. Yeah.
James Avery.
I don't know.
He's Star Trek
baseball player.
Who's Captain Sisko on Deep
That's
Space
Avery
Nine?
Brooks, you moron. Okay.
All right. What else we got? Well, I think we have one last thing, Scott. And what is it?
Yeah, I got this week in the mail. This is the
McCready
from is this a
thing.
Jaeger Army exclusive? I think it is. Yes.
Yes, it was.
I think it is a Jaeger Army exclusive.
Jaeger Army button.
Yeah, I hope it's a Jaeger Army. Otherwise, we're gonna look dumb with your button. But it's
oh no,
McCready. It's Kurt Russell from The Thing, and it's the base, bust, the two hands, and then there's a little copper wire piece that connects the spool to the petri dish. I guess I don't know.
Scott hasn't seen the movie. He doesn't.
This is gonna blow everyone away. I've not seen the movie, but I bought this kit because it was really well done.
And it's one of the best scenes in the entire. It's one of the best scenes in film. Like that is a perfect scene. And everyone knows who's seen it.
I think this is a movie I will see someday.
You need to watch it.
I just want you to know.
You need to watch it. All right, that's news and reviews. Done. Workbench, Scott. Workbench, Scott.
I got nothing.
Yeah, okay.
I got nothing.
My workbench for this episode is literally workbench. I have torn apart my workbench. I took shelves down. I am 3D print, and I am not going to 3D print this for anyone. Because this is... So I'm using my two little FDM printers. I am building the hobby station. So on my mini factory, you can buy a hobby station with little drawers and boxes and things. So I decided to tear apart everything I have and start printing little drawers and things and rebuild my whole bench. So everything's in shambles.
Tell us how you screwed up a print with one of those drawers.
So while it was printing, I decided to try and test fit a drawer, and it slipped out of my finger and jammed up the printer. So I lost about 10 hours worth of a print. Actually, more than that. It was about a day's worth of a print.
So wait a minute. So did you drop it?
I did drop it. I have not yet dropped anything on an episode today. 2 episodes in a row so far. So that's what I'm doing. And also, I finished all of my paint rack back here. I painted this. And then my other workbench thing, I have for Wonderfest, I said before I'm going to have a kit for sale, which is the Agent Carter. And I finally printed all of it. And I should have picked something easier because it's not just one kit. It's one kit with 3 versions. And then 2 of those versions each have a different torso. So what I decided to do was each torso I'm going to sell extra if you want to add on. So you can swap it out with magnets if you wanted to. And it'll come with a head. Those extra torsos will have the head and hands and gun. So you could just swap it out. So, and I think I've settled kind of on a price. I think it's going to be $130. And then it'll be $40 for the extra torso with the head and guns and things. So it's been not. Oh, I bought another Saturn. I bought another 3D printer since the last episode. And I primed my snake eyes. This is where I'm going to drop something. I primed snake eyes. Okay.
There you go. I think that same guy just did Who's the Head of Cobra.
I just bought it.
Did you? I saw that.
So I got cool. Snake Eyes. I got Storm Shadow from that guy, and I just got Cobra Commander. So
yeah, that looked pretty cool.
I love Cobra Commander. So, and I'm working on Paul Gill's Psycho Gorman for the table. I have it primed. I have to.
I keep hearing it in my head. Psycho Gorman.
Yeah. So, all right, that's the workbench. Our interview, Scott.
Our interview, Scott?
Our
We didn't
interview.
interview Scott.
Our interview is a friend of yours who I had never met before.
Oh, he's not a friend of mine. I knew him.
Well, maybe he might not be after this.
Well,
but
no, I think actually now he is.
Now he is.
Okay.
He loves us.
Now he is.
I think.
No, I was friends with him on Facebook. I knew who he was, but I never had a long
I'm friends
conversation
with him on Facebook now until he figures out who I am, and then he will quickly delete me, like Phil did.
We have George Seletas, who is the contest chief at Wonderfest.
So I thought it would be cool to kind of have him come on and talk about the contest, how he got involved, how he took over from John, some of the just little inspire people for the Wonderfest contest. So it's a great he's a fun guy. He's like one of our kind of people. He's a hardware.
He had never seen an episode.
He was blessed.
and then I guess he watched 4 episodes, and now unfortunately for him, he took the Terry Webb episodes first, so he didn't get a lot of us talking.
No.
But one thing he said, it was like, and I've heard this from a lot of people, it was like watching this is like sitting at Wonderfest bullshitting.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the intent here.
Yep, that is absolutely the intent.
So it's, that's kind of the vibe we hope we're giving off. And I've heard a few people say that's the vibe they get. I've heard a few people say it's too long. I don't care what the vibe is. I've heard people say I worship gods. I've seen guys call me an asshat, but no, George liked it, and he was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So enjoy. This is
so I'm going to go change clothes real quick, and so we can interview George.
I wore the same shirt 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
I'm a slob. All right. We'll see you afterwards.
Okay. Welcome back, everyone. Our guest tonight is George Seletas, and he is the contest chief at Wonderfest.
That is a fancy title.
That is a fancy title. And we figured as we're getting closer, who better to come on and talk to us about the Wonderfest contest and Wonderfest in general. And George, welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, welcome
Appreciate
to the show.
And up until, I guess, today, George had never even seen an episode of this crazy show. So
he's a lucky guy.
So it's baptism by fire for George. So George, give us a little of your hobby Wonderfest history and how you got to where you are now as the chief contest head honcho guy.
Well, actually, I got back into modeling in around 96, something like that, after about 20 years. Fooling around, I get my first computer in 98, start hanging out on these websites. First place I ever saw was called TV Man. The second place I saw was Starship Modeler. And I'm looking and I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? All this stuff. And so I started getting back into modeling. And then on these boards, I'm watching this talk about Wonderfest. And I'm like, well, what's this all about? And everybody is telling me you've got to go to this. And so our first Wonderfest was 2004. And I married right. My wife is a degree art major.
Nice.
She's very good at what she does. And I built, I don't know what it was, some silly little Trek model or something, Wow, that's pretty good, for not doing anything for 20 years. These guys are going to love this. And I take it and I get down to the contest room right as it opened. There's only like 3 models in that entire room. I put my piece in there. I'm all happy with myself. I walk out. 3 hours later, contest room opens. I walked in with my wife and I looked at those models in that room. I'm like, oops.
3 years in the garbage.
So she's looking at me. She's like, what? I said, boy, I really suck at this. Boy, what it was an eye opener, and I ended up getting a merit, my first year, and I was like pleased beyond belief with that,
Yeah.
But you know what? The big thing is all the people I met that first year, and they were telling me so helpful, you got to do this, you got to do that, this, and they're just really helpful people. For my wife, it was a real hoot because of the figures.
Yeah.
She's all about the figures. I've watched her sculpt a million things when she was in college and always doing stuff like that. So it was perfect for both of us. So as the years went on, that's what we ended up doing down here in our studio. You know, she's got a lot of her figures. I'm mostly hardware.
I was just going to ask, are you mostly a hardware guy? Okay.
Yeah, Star Wars, Star Trek. The Star Trek stuff I have trouble with because I'm getting bored with it. And but you know, as the years of wore on, I've gotten away from that. I went into the machining Krieger stuff.
That stuff's really cool. I really like that.
It is. And well, the best thing I like about it is you can do what the hell you want.
Right.
You know, it's not, you don't follow any, you know, no rivet counting, none of that nonsense.
Yep.
Right now I've got, are you guys familiar with the movie Chappie?
Yeah.
Neil Blomkamp.
I am. Scott is not.
No,
I guarantee Scott.
I don't watch any
what you're
movies.
talking
Trust
about.
me. I'm
okay. His giant automaton. It was called Chappie or Moose.
Called
Moose, which is basically ED-209 on steroids. And I am working on that right now. This is just the body.
Oh, cool.
Right?
Yeah.
And when it's done, it's over 2 feet tall. You know, it's like 14 inches wide. And like most of us, and I see it with the figure modelers too, I can't leave nothing alone.
Yep.
This detail is pure garbage. I mean, it's an expensive kit. I'm like, that's just going away. I'm scraping stuff off, putting new stuff on.
Nice.
That's why it takes me forever to get something done. But
me too.
But as the years went on, you know, you work, and Terry alluded to this too. My work kept getting better and better and better. Guys would take me aside. I remember that from last year. This is what you got to do next year. You know, they're just a constant source of inspiration all the time. And
I noticed that about Wonderfest too. Wonderfest is never, when I was entering the contest way back when, I don't think anyone's ever walked away and felt that someone was mean-spirited or not helpful. Like, I think everyone's like, hey man, that's cool. Here's what you can do to fix that. And people share tips. I mean, yeah, there's some guys that don't like to give out their secrets, but I think for the most part, Wonderfest, the people that go to Wonderfest share their help freely and are not jerks about it.
Right. Yeah.
Even the judges,
absolutely.
like if you could track down a judge and be like, because I know when I was judging way back when, like if someone asked me, I'll be like, here, try this, and help people out. And I think most people are like that. So have you guys found that as well? Or
yes.
Okay.
I have.
No,
yeah.
except for the angry modeler that comes and says, why didn't my
we're gonna get to that. I'm gonna ask that question later. We'll get to that a little bit later.
Yeah.
That's one of my top questions I wanna go over.
Yeah. But yeah, it's you know, so what I ended up doing was I think after that first merit, I got 2-3 years of bronzes, and then it was a whole bunch of silvers.
Yes.
And silvers. And then I started getting from my friends the "you got robbed" thing. To which I would reply, I don't care.
Yeah.
you know, I'm making progress. So I finally get my gold, right? And did a couple of them. And Ludden is like, do you want to do a class for me next year? I said, well, about what? He goes, well, about how you won gold. Brian Ludden at the time didn't realize I can be kind of a smart ass. I'm like, sure, I'll do that. I'll do a PowerPoint presentation. So I did this PowerPoint presentation the next year, and I literally called it How to Win Gold at Wonderfest. And so I showed all this silver stuff. There's, I don't know, 35 people in a room, probably something like that. Most of them are my friends, so it was kind of biased. But they're all like sitting there staring, and I'm showing them all this stuff I got silver for. Showed them all these close-up pictures and stuff, and no one's saying anything. They're just kind of perplexed. And then I go to my gold, which, by the way, I didn't think was ever my best work. And I show them that. In the end, the last frame I had said, so why did it win a gold with a question mark? You know, and everybody's like, yeah, why? And I just went, I don't know.
You should have had a picture of you handing someone some money, like you know, like a picture of you at Davis going, here, there's a couple bucks. Yeah.
I think you touch on an important point, though. It almost does feel arbitrary sometimes.
Yeah.
And there's not like when it was different teams of judges, you kind of didn't know who you got, who knows their subject matter, who's doing what. And so it is different sometimes based on the size.
Very
And
true.
It's tough.
That's one of the things that I'm super happy about. The last 4 years, I've had exactly the same 10 judges.
Good.
All 4 years. So I know what to expect from them. I know that I can trust them. I know that they'll stop and I'll hear them yelling across the room, come here and look at this. We'll pull 2 or 3 guys and go look at a single, if it's that, I don't know what to do with this piece. So that gives me a warm fuzzy, I know they're just not like, mailing it in, which is really kind of important to me.
So how did you go from winning your gold to running the contest?
Okay. So what had happened in the meantime?
Did you lose a bet? Number one, is that like,
yeah, did you lose a bet?
Actually, no. The following year, Davis, John came to me and asked me, he said, would you be willing to help me out? He said, I really need somebody that knows hardware. And that was literally the first time John Davis and I had ever talked. And John didn't realize it until I told him later, but a lot of people that just simply didn't know John were afraid of him.
He's a scary dude. I could see that back then.
He's a pussy cat.
I couldn't believe the stigma they put on him. Like, oh, he's a prick. I'm like, why? Because you didn't get a gold? So, I mean, that was my attitude. I said, you guys don't even know him. Then the first day I talked to him, I'm like, holy cow, this guy's like, he's like really nice. He's a guy that cares about the contest.
Yeah.
And he just wants some help.
And for people who don't know, we're talking about John Davis, who ran the Wonderfest contest forever-ish. Like, like it, and he just wanted to step back recently, but keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. And I told him, I said, I have one more thing that I want to do for next year, and then you can have me after that. And then by the time that came around, he was already thinking about stepping down. But what I didn't understand is they came to me by the way of Brian Ludden called and asked me if I'd be interested in taking over as the contest chief. And I said, well, that's pretty cool. I said, I'm up for it. I said, I've been involved in my IPMS club for 15 years. So I know how to do a contest. Said, sure, I'd love to help you guys, And reason my reputation apparently preceded me. In 2009, we had a Wonderfest where there was a fella that brought a gigantic 48-inch Enterprise to the contest room. And as it turned out, he really wasn't there to enter. He was there to sell a product. So he was kind of like skipping the price for the dealer's table, right?
Mm-hmm.
All he had to pay was to enter his model. And it was horrible. Really, really bad. Very amateurish. And he also had a book. He had a book on how to build that model. Now, whether it said, I'm teaching you how to build this model really bad.
Man, I hope this don't turn into another, we got a guy mad at us thing, but that's all right. Go ahead. This is a great story.
No. You ain't got to, no. I won't I know his name. He ain't been back since, but I ain't even saying the name. And it was on a chrome stand, and it had Star Trek the Motion Picture music playing really loud. It was annoying.
I think so. What we ended up,
well, and that was also, there was things that happened that year. Somehow, some way, it got misjudged, and it got a gold. And I had entered a piece that everybody was raving about all weekend. It got a silver, which I really didn't care about, but everybody else did, and people were flipping out. And for whatever reason, maybe because I was young and stupid, I decided to get pissed off, and I went on Starship Modeler and started ranting about this thing getting a gold. Ranting enough that my good friend John Lester actually told me, he sent me a message, said, you quit it or you're getting booted.
Wow.
And I just wouldn't let it go. Well, as it turns out, 6 years later, I'm talking to Hodge when I decided to accept the head judge thing. He said, "You know why you're here, don't you?" He was following that whole thing. He said, "I know exactly who you are." I'm like, and he was just smiling. He says, "You cared about the contest. That's what it taught me." You know,
Very
and
cool.
it was kind of a black mark. You know, like everybody, like next year, the following year in 2010, people were bringing these enterprise models that were bedazzled.
I remember that.
You remember that?
I do remember that. Yep.
They
And I was
sprayed it with glue and put
so here's the thing.
Kubichons.
Being on the figure side of it, this guy, I know no Starship drama. I know no
Yes.
hardware drama. I have no
Yeah.
idea what's going on. And so you walk into the contest room and there were all those spaceships with that were bedazzled. And I'm like, what is this about? Now I know. Okay.
They were sending a message.
All right.
Yeah. That's how I ended up with it. Now, that being said, I did tell them up front, and I tell my judges too. The one huge plus for me when I started going to Wonderfest, I never seen figures like that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that taught me the figure side of it.
Okay.
Yeah, because you ain't gonna get with fellows with figures at Wonderfest. You're not gonna get that at an IPMS show. And Wonderfest is a whole other level.
Yeah.
And them guys are crazy. And so that was a huge benefit for me. But at the same time, I will tell every judge in that room, I get guys that are figure judges. I tell them I got nothing to do with that. It's on you guys. You know, I am not a figure judge. Like my first year as head judge, I was scared to death of Gundams. Didn't know anything about them. As far as I was concerned, they were snapped together, you know, colored robots. And I didn't know what to do with them, you know, because it wasn't my thing. And luckily, I had guys that knew them really well. And as luck would have it, that particular year, a fellow by the name of Matt Morozic showed up.
Yeah. Yep.
Ooh, oh, man. I seen the stuff he brought in there, and they brought me over just to try to educate me on what something good is supposed to look like and that sort of thing. And I walked over and see Matt's work. I'm like, holy cow, man! I could have judged.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah, he's got some
spectacular.
good Gundams. Those were
Yeah, his Gundam stuff is really good.
And he's starting on the figures now too. I'm sure you guys have seen some of that.
Yep.
And he's just a blast to watch. I just love that kind of stuff now. You know, bring me more. I want more.
So I was struck by one thing you said. How you said you were kind of bored of Trek models, and it's like I want it kind of goes into the figure thing. You know, how many Frankensteins are we going to do? How many Enterprises are we going to do? Or how many? I mean, it's like there's one TV show and 6 freaking movies for crying out loud. Okay, it's
and it's fine. I mean, I don't want the Trek guys to be put off. If you bring Trek into that room, if you'll get what you should get. My thing was, what I used to tell people was, they're like, well, what if you have 6 1/350th round 2 original series Enterprises? They can't get all gold. My answer was, why not? If they're finished to that level, they'll get what they get.
Can you explain that to people? I think a little how you're not judged against each other, because I think some people just kind of explain that part of the Wonderfest contest system. How you're not looking at 2 models next to each other to come up with the winner of the contest. They're all So explain that to everyone, please.
So that was the biggest reason why I took over the contest was that our Pittsburgh club is like the black sheep of IPMS, because they judge the same way at the Pittsburgh club as we do at Wonderfest. It's gold, silver, bronze, and the way it works is you're judged on a level of criteria, and the only person you're competing against is yourself. The point being is it allows you to get better. So you might have, I can illustrate a point. If you brought one of those Enterprises into the contest room and you decided you wanted to paint it fluorescent green, put the decals on it, light it, whatever it is you want to do with it. If I look at that model and the paint is perfect, the seams are perfect, not seeing anything wrong with that model kit, that's their interpretation of it. It's a goal. Now, I know people don't want to hear that, but if it meets that criteria, it doesn't matter. That's an artistic, right? It's an artistic. That's how that artist sees it.
No, George. It's supposed to. If I see a pink creature from the Black Lagoon, it ain't getting nothing because the creature ain't pink. Okay.
Or one is polka dot.
Right.
So yeah.
I hope someone enters a fluorescent green Enterprise now.
I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what I did one year is I watched about my fourth year, somewhere around there. I was watching some of these folks after the contest just gnashing their teeth over, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they were literally rivet counting over paint and stuff like that. There was nothing wrong with a particular piece, except they didn't like the way it was done. And you would have thought, Jesus, you would have thought somebody
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
killed somebody.
And I've heard the hardware guys, the figure guys you have, first of all, a lot of the figures, the classic monsters were all black and white movies. So you can get away with a lot.
Yeah.
Where I think a lot of these guys are so into the hardware that it's supposed to be this color blue and it's supposed to be this color gray and it's supposed to be this. And, and these panel lines have to be exactly right. And so to your point is, yeah, some of them are real sticklers for detail. And a case in point is that Bondi perfect grade Millennium Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Millennium Falcon from the first movie with the cockpit of Empire Strikes Back. And I know guys that's driving them absolutely bananas. Okay. Right. And it's like, Jesus, if you got to get that close to my shit, get away.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the other thing is this is supposed to be fun. And I was watching these folks and I felt bad for them because it angst ridden. Holy cow. This was just like destroying them, and so me being who I am, like my fourth year, I was working like 70 hours a week. I didn't have time to do anything cool. So I did this little 1/1000th Enterprise, some kind of a aftermarket kit on it. And just to be a butthead, I painted it duck-egg blue. Because it has that greenish shift to it, which you can kind of see on some of the old video on the old 60s series. And it just had that look to it. Yeah, I heard about that all weekend. Why'd you paint that duck-egg blue?
So maybe, all right, let's mix the worlds here for a second. I don't know if you've seen a lot of what Jeff Camp does, who we had on the show, or any of the miniature guys that paint with light, like hitting a surface of a figure, where they actually paint the shadow in different colors. That's something that would look really cool on some starships. Like if a ship's flying past a nebula where there's light reflecting off of that, and that side of the ship is a different color than the other one. And it's not just if more guys did that, that would be, I think.
They could probably get away with that more on maybe hardware too.
Yeah.
Be more hard surface like an X-Wing.
Yeah.
Or a TIE fighter or something like that. Yeah, that's an
like if you're flying past a star or there's an explosion, you would get light reflecting near the ship. It wouldn't be just flat ship colors. There'd be oranges and yellows reflecting off that. That might be kind of cool.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's the other thing I really got a kick out of figures was as years wore on. I think we all started to see more of. You were saying earlier, Scott, about the black and white, where people were bringing stuff in black and white, doing all the great. Oh, holy crap! I just love that kind of stuff. And it's so cool to look at. Boy, I can't say enough about that sort of stuff. I just can't.
It would be. Yeah, I kind of want to try that now on something that I have.
Sure. Yeah, but so here's the other thing too, with the way we judge stuff is I want to get rid of the puff chested, chest thumping stuff, as if I'm better than you or that sort of thing. I want to get rid of that. I see that in first, second, and third places all the time. Like you had said earlier, I smirk when I go to an IPMS contest and they're like, I got got 15 1/144 scale commercial aircrafts here. And holy crap, they're all like perfect. And I'm smirking like, yeah, what are you going to do about that? Can't give them all first place, can you? So guess what they do? They make up some BS thing like, we're going to split the category, and then they'll make up something. This one's got props, this one's got engines, jet engines. No, I mean, if you've got good work sitting there like that, they should be rewarded for that. Not like, dude, I can't believe you got a first and I got a second because mine was a TWA.
Yeah.
And yours was United Airlines, whatever. Yeah, it's just, that's how you find out you're getting better. That's how I knew I was getting better.
Right. Me too.
Let's see how smart Jason is. What's TWA stand for?
Trans World Airlines.
Wow, I'm shocked you knew that. Whoa, look at that. Look at that. I'm shocked the kid knew that.
Uh-huh.
So. Yep. Yeah, if that's the way, that's the way folks want to do that, that's the way they want to do it. Now the downside to gold, silver, bronze in a contest is, and I discussed it up front when I first took over the contest, was you're going to do gold, silver, bronze. When you buy your awards, you have to be prepared to buy extra of everything. Because what if you have a year?
I've always had that question. When do you buy the awards? Before or that night? That's
actually, I'm going to place an order in about 2 weeks here.
Okay.
Based on the inventory I have left over, what I think is going to happen, how many I think we might get this year. I'm hoping to break 1,000.
Okay.
So yeah, it'll be based on that, but it's just, you don't want to get caught shorthanded.
Right. I've always wondered that.
It's funny if you look at like kind of a statistics guy. It's never been lost on me that roughly, if you go to any local IPMS show, regionals, or even Nats, and if you look at numbers, and especially like our Pittsburgh club I was using as a barometer, usually about 10 to 12% of our entries every year are usually gold in Pittsburgh. It's funny how that is. It's like, in your silver, it always is around there. And Wonderfest is around 8 to 9%. It's a little lower a little heavier on the silver. It just depends what you get, that year. So you always have to plan for that, because the last thing I want to do is tell a guy, sorry, we're out of gold. We'll have to mail it to you. It's kind of, I don't want to be there.
But that was what would happen. You just mail it.
Well, we've never had to do that.
You've never had to do it. Okay.
No, we've never had to do that.
You know what one of your wise ass judges did to me one year?
Oh,
what's that? What's that?
Not judges, one of your helpers, Mr. Lance Woods.
Oh, that guy.
Lance.
Oh,
So he walks into the room and he's got one of the blue boxes. He says, here, you've always helped us and stuff. We wanted to give you something. I'm like, what? What are they doing? Okay. So I open it up and it's the glass award with nothing on it, George. Okay. It's just the solid, like, either it didn't get printed on or
Nothing
whatever.
etched.
And then they're like, here you go. And I'm like, thanks for nothing. So,
and I'm sure that's what he said too.
so there you go. So
I never heard that story. That's good.
That's Lance.
That's Lance. Lance. That guy.
Hey, Lance was one of the first people I ever met that went like my second year of going back. It was like 96. I think I finally met Lance. We've been friends ever since.
Oh, he's a good guy.
Lance is and for people who don't know, we're talking about Lance Woods. Also helped the contest for years. He was the guy that typed in everything and set up. He did all the hard work behind the scenes that no one ever knew about, really. It's someone has to go and put the names in the computer and do all that stuff. And that's what Lance's job was for years, and kind of an unsung hero that had a lot of work to do.
I don't know what his job is now.
Yeah,
being a punk. That's what his job is.
He's being a punk. Yeah.
You're talking about Lance putting in the contest entries.
Yeah.
Because Stephanie.
So she does it now, right? Stephanie does. Yep.
Yeah, she was doing that. Yeah, she's been doing it every year except last year. Everything kind of got jerked around. We lost our automatic entry program. So me and my wife ended up. The whole thing was jacked up. I don't know if you remember last year we had to do everything old school, duplicate ballots. The ballots is the piece got judged. We ended up writing on the ballot what it got, which was a happy accident, by the way. The white copy got thrown in a basket of its correct genre. Then you left the yellow slip with what they won next to the piece. And then they came down. There was no bank, or there was no ceremony. They come down to get their awards from Drew and I and Stephanie and Marcy, my wife. We handed them all out of a room because we couldn't pack 400 people into a room.
Right.
And and actually, we got a lot of. I think it worked out better because we got to have a little more one-on-one time with people that brought their pieces, and it worked out really well for us. But then after that, we had to take all that shit back home and then put it on a spreadsheet like Lance used to do.
Yeah.
So it would get published.
Well, what I did like about it is you could look at the pieces on Sunday and say, oh, that got a gold, or that got this and that got that. And I understand the excitement of the contest and learning. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword, because as an attendee, I like knowing, because sometimes I'll hear, or I'll go on the website and I'll say, this got gold, this got gold. I'm like, what kit was that? What was, and it's like where now, or last year was kind of cool because you could, like you said, everybody could see what everybody got. And
yep. That was a happy accident.
So there was a plus to that. So
are you going to keep doing that?
We are going to keep doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is a great change. That is.
Wait,
really
so we don't have to listen to Hodge mispronounce names anymore?
Yes.
Exactly. And I'm sure he'll be. Well, no, he's already voiced he's happy about it. So.
Oh man.
And his bad jokes and puns.
Oh.
I haven't been in an award ceremony in a long time. But
What's the worst thing that's happened? Has anyone ever threatened your life? Yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. Has anyone thrown a model?
I don't get nothing. Yeah, you'll see. Yeah.
Has anyone thrown their kit in the garbage?
I have actually seen that before I even took over.
Okay.
A guy that was not pleased with what he got. He took his couple $100 kit. I saw him go out the back door of the Crown and literally just like spike it like a football in a parking lot. And it like blew up into a million pieces.
God, I hope it was a hardware guy. I hope it wasn't a figure guy.
It was. Yeah, it was a hardware guy. Yeah.
We should, what would be cool if we we should buy fireworks and stand out back and say, hey, you didn't like what you got? We'll $5 for an M80. We'll blow up your model and film it.
Yeah. Too bad we couldn't have a shooting gallery, a BB gun.
We could bring the Varmint Hunter. We'll set it up.
There you go.
Ting, ting, ting.
Yep, bring the Varmint Hunter. Yep, I've got my own airsoft with a laser sight.
Oh,
I'll get on that action.
All right. I can't. Can I bring my 22? I'll probably get in trouble.
No, you can't bring your 22.
My AR?
Freak
No.
show.
All right.
Yeah, it's I have we have some fanboy issues, like you're always gonna have. I had a the only thing I've really had to deal with is I had a situation where I guess you would call it one of the show darlings, right? Somebody that's really, really good at what they do, and they're deified a little bit. When this guy, when this person brings a piece, everybody expects it to get a gold, and we had a situation where a piece was brought, and it's spectacular, like it usually is, at least from what I saw. And I hear my guy yelling at me from 100 feet across the room, you need to come over and look at this. And I walked over, and he said, this, and that, and the other. I said, okay. And I'm looking, and I'm like, ooh. So it's like a 5-footer, And he goes, yeah. He goes, dude, what do you want me to do? He said, it's a silver. And I said, can you justify why you gave it a silver? Lose their minds. Justify why you gave it a silver. Yeah. I said, then you put down silver. And he goes, all right, cool. I said, thanks. Thanks for this. I said, because I didn't see it. I didn't really give it that good of a look over either. Mm-hmm. And then I commenced in taking pictures of everything that was wrong with it. And sure enough, The next day, the whining started. And my answer was, a couple people said something to me, and I just kind of smiled and I said, he knows what he did. And that's the only answer they got from me. And if that person's true to himself, he's going to tell them what was wrong, And so, you run into that. It happens, Um, that's really about it, though. People are pretty good, and something else that you guys brought up at the beginning that we've been trying to do too since I took over is a couple of my judges and myself and a couple of my excellent helpers, like a fellow by the name of Mark Cable, been helping for years.
Mm-hmm.
Great guy, art teacher, art major. He's all about the art. We have taken a couple people that we know. I know you guys know too. I know when I see somebody I haven't seen in there before, like you can kind of tell when there's like somebody new.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to grab 2 or 3 people we see like that every year. And when they're packing their stuff up to go home, we'll go up to them. We had one young lady that was there with her mom. She's probably in her mid-20s. I can't remember the piece she brought. It was scratch built, and from 10 feet away, it was a ship. It was truly spectacular from a distance. And when you got up on it, made out of balsa wood, and it had many flaws, but you could tell they were only flaws because she didn't know how to work with the medium.
Mm-hmm.
And we spent probably an hour telling her, if you want to avoid this, then you need to do this, that, and the other. And they were like really pleased about it. And that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
No?
Yep.
So
I think you're right. I think the point of the Wonderfest contest has always been to learn how to get better, not be the best. And I applaud you guys for continuing to keep it that way.
Yeah. I mean,
especially with the amount of people that are leaving the hobby in terms of death and in terms of no one builds models anymore. Really, it's tough. So to get people and encourage them, I think is the way to go, not scare them away. And it's great that Wonderfest does that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You guys have lost folks. I've lost a couple, 2 years ago. Can't believe it's almost 2 years. We lost Mark Youngblood. He'd been coming there since day one.
Yeah.
An outstanding figure modeler. Mark was a huge help to me. Just taught me a lot. He's like, here's what you're doing wrong. And he would tell me, and here's how you do it. He would tell me that, and then we used to email. He'd message me all the time. What are you doing now? He wanted to know what I was doing. And you lose it, and we lost him quick, young, just a shame.
Yeah.
Jason just tells me I don't have time to help you. You're on your own.
I hope people know that is not true. If people only knew what goes on outside of this, man. The simple fact that his microphone works is a miracle.
Yeah, after you came over here and screwed my computer up and it took us 2 hours to get it working again.
Oh, yeah. I screwed it up.
Pretty much my attitude also is, as far as the contest goes, is I've got several display pieces coming this year too that aren't even there to be judged. And I get emails all the time, throughout the year. I've got this, these are the dimensions, can I bring it? I don't want to enter it. And I'm like, yeah, bring it. Mm-hmm. I want cool in that room. I want people to go in there and go, yikes.
And I think, this is maybe where we bring it up. So I don't know if you're aware. We did our model club contest in the back room for a couple years there. What did we do? 4, Scott? 3?
3.
So where we wanted, because a lot of us at the time were writers for AFM and weren't allowed to enter the contest. And we're like, well, we kind of miss that competition feeling. So we started doing almost like our own little mini pro category at night in the back room. There was and we never got the participant. And that's kind of why we wanted it, is that cool factor. We kind of felt like, hey, since a lot of the guys that were really good, that were doing the amazing, crazy things, were now writers for AFM or everything, they can't enter the contest anymore. they could put their stuff on the dealer's table, but some of those guys still want to compete. Some of those guys still want to. So we were doing this little backroom contest. We only did, like I said, 3 times, and we did not get the participation we wanted. And I think part of it was my fault in terms of the way we advertised it. But I would love to be able to bring that. Have you guys thought about a pro category ever, or like I don't even know what a pro category would be at this point, but to try and get that cool factor back in, like you're saying, for people, I don't know, thoughts on it.
I think it'd probably take more discussion, but I think the only problem with the masters, I would call it a masters or a pro category, would judge it.
Yeah. And that's,
I don't know.
and
But
that's kind of
there's-
how, the way we did ours is we all judged on it. You couldn't vote for yourself. And there was one winner in that, it wasn't like, it was like a first place. And then we started doing,
Well, and there was an entry fee too. So
And
there was
then-
there was a $50 entry fee.
Oh, okay.
And then from that pool of money, we paid Dave
we gave
for the room
Hodge $200.
Okay.
and for the room.
Yep.
And then whoever won got the money. I mean, there was no skimming off the top for anything.
Right.
It was strictly, and it wasn't so much about the money, but it was a way to kind of separate a little bit. Like, if you're going to throw $50 at it, you're going to bring your A game. Okay.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
And so you had the Mike Wallaces and the Steve Rojas,
Trotch was
Shaky
in there. A lot of guys,
Dave,
yep.
Shaky Dave. Yeah.
a lot of guys, a lot of very well-known name, Mark McGovern, George Ganser, Jason Walker,
Yep.
Robert Trock
I don't know
entered
why I'm
every
friends with
year.
you sometimes.
Robert would enter something ridiculous every year, crazy big, and it wasn't meant to compete or anything. It was just, but like Jason said, the best way to judge it, and that was one of the things when it was brought up, is how do we judge? Who judges?
Yeah.
And I said, well, who better to judge than yourselves? So anyone that entered judged. And then if there was a tie,
You couldn't vote for
then
yourself.
we'd have another round of voting. Okay.
Yeah.
And say, okay, there's a tie. So now anybody that voted blah, blah, blah. Okay. And the first 2, I believe, were decided by 1 vote each.
Yeah.
Right.
Really? Yeah.
Yes. So, because it really, the first 2 narrowed down to 2 kits, basically.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
But we like that. I like, and that's the cool factor. I think, I'm not saying that there's no cool factor in the Wonderfest contest, but I think
No,
some of the
I got
guys
you.
got pushed out accidentally.
That's a very good point. I was just about to say there should be room at the table for everybody,
Yeah.
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Everybody that's in there, masters, and people should see that too.
right.
I want people to see your work, because that's what you aspire to do.
Well, and I know every year you guys let us display the stuff in the dealer or
Yeah.
in
We're,
the
yeah. Yes,
contest
for sure.
room
Yeah, that's
Next-
that's true.
the next day after the fact. But
But we just, with
so-
COVID
which
the
was
last
cool,
year,
but
and then this year, it didn't come together the last 2 years because we're
Yeah.
doing this show that's eating up all the time that usually went into planning that. But
Yeah.
I
yeah. When was
think
the last
about
time you guys? When was the last time you guys did that?
the
19.
year before COVID, whatever.
Yeah.
The year
yeah,
before it
that
got
would've been
canceled.
19.
Yeah.
Then everything got kind of wonky.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I'm still trying to, things that I had planned that I want to do, they got thrown
Yeah.
out the garbage can. But just-
That unfortunately we had no hardware guys in there when you really think about it. We
Yeah.
had no
Well, then we
hardware
kind of
guys.
kept it that
Yeah.
way on purpose because it was a figure
Mhm.
modeler guy thing at that.
if that's
you know.
okay.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
okay.
So that
I
brings
got
me- I think to my
Go
other
ahead.
question,
Mhm.
sponsoring awards.
yes.
How many do you guys usually do? Is there a limit? How do you guys go about? Because there are a bunch of cool other sponsored awards at the end. How are those judged? How do you sponsor an award? Is there a limit? Do you want to keep it to a certain amount? You know what I mean? Like,
So typically on the sponsored awards, what we do is we try to fill the categories as we can, like juniors and teens. been kind of thin lately on sponsorship. But the other thing with juniors and teens right now, we're a little thin on entries too.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't get terribly excited about that for now. Yeah, we'll do sponsorships for like AFM does best figure model, right?
Yeah.
Right. So pretty much what I don't want to do is get another sponsor doing the same thing. Don't want to step on AFM's toes, nothing like that. I like to keep that stuff separate. Well, I had somebody approach me this year with wanted to sponsor an award for best kit bashed model, and what he is he's a kit bash manufacturer. He manufactures Greebly kits for like probably hardware guys, if they want to scratch build their own starship or whatever, and I was cool with that. He said, I'll just give a couple of my bags of Greeblies, which is worth a decent amount of money. I said, that's fun.
And Scott's gonna laugh at me probably, but I just learned what Greebly was like this year. Could you explain to everybody what Greebly is for people who don't know?
It's just well, let's see if I got something here. Like back in the Star Wars days when them guys are, building their little X-Wings and stuff.
Uh-huh.
If you ever noticed, they had a giant rack of box model kits behind them, and they would literally take parts off of trees, and slap them on the kit. And these became known as Greeblies.
Okay.
You could have something like that's just some arbitrary name they gave to them.
And that's fun because me being growing up a miniature guy, they were always just called bits with a Z, like bits from the Games Workshop guys. And that's what we always call it. So when I heard Greeblies, I was like, what are they talking? I'm like, oh, okay.
I've even heard them called Greebles, but whatever.
Okay. Because Scott, if you look, we'll talk about 3D printing, but if you go and look on some of the 3D printing file pages, they're like horn Greeblies, and it's nothing but 50 kinds of horns that you can print.
Yeah.
And I was like, Greeblies. And that's how I learned what it was. Anyway, sorry. I totally interrupted that.
Stick-ons.
Oh, the sponsored awards. Sorry. The guy with the... Yep.
Oh, yeah. So, I'm just using him as an example. So anyhow, the way that would work with all of our sponsored awards is I make a point of sponsoring an award. It's something I got very serious about at 5:00. When the contest room doors shut on Saturday, I want you in this room, not 9:00, not 8:00. I want you in this room at 5:00.
Yeah.
And you go through, and if you're best figure modeler or best starship or best Star Trek or whatever, go pick that award. You grab me or Drew, tell us which one it is, and we'll get it entered, put in the computer. And that's pretty much how the sponsors work, and the guys have gotten really good the last couple of years about getting there early. And it's kind of fun. Like this year, I hope we've got John Eves coming. We got Eric Chu coming, who's known for Battlestar Galactica. I hope to get them to help me in the contest room picking out the best Star Trek, best Battlestar Galactica pieces we've got in the room. So cool. If anybody should know them, it should be them guys.
Right.
I used them years ago and just had a good time doing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we sponsor those particular awards: Star Trek, Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica. But and there's others like AFM.
Mm-hmm. And so, correct me if I'm wrong, you don't necessarily have to have a gold medal kit to win one of those awards either. If someone, obviously it helps, but you may see a sponsor go in there for best superhero kit.
Yeah.
And just something really catches their eye and they say, that's it because that's the one I like. So it's not necessarily a building and painting award per se.
Right.
Is it? It's.
I am so glad you brought that up because that's so important. That's why the sponsored awards are so important too. I'll give you an example. 2013, brought a Machining Krieger piece to Wonderfest, and probably my best work ever then. And it got a silver, right? But that same year, it got the silver. It also got the Starship Modeler Best Starship Award from John Lester. And then the Colorado Commies out of Denver, they have what they call a BEOWSL Award, the Best Example of Something We Like Award.
That's
I
awesome.
won that. And I won that those two the same years I got my silver. And those two awards, because I know all those guys personally, meant more to me than anything in the world.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I gave Lester a hug when he gave me that award, and he's whispering in my ear, "Quit hugging me."
Get away from me.
Real quick, just tips for entering the contest. Like, what are some do's? What are some don'ts? Dust your model kit before you enter.
Man, I was just going to say that. Make sure your model's not full of dust and cat hair and
yes, please,
cobwebs and Jesus.
We've seen that too. Yeah, there's that. Let's see what else is off the top of my head. If your piece was damaged in transit, which happens, write it on the form. Write it right on the form so we know. We're overlooked that. We've seen stuff where something might get cracked, a piece fall off, and sometimes they just, they can't get it glued back on or whatever, that sort of thing. Write it on the slip. The
nice thing too is there's plenty of guys there that bring supplies, so search them out. Yeah. Because if you do break something, chances are somebody's there with what you need to fix it. And if you can't fix it, then still put it on the sheet. Look, I did my best to fix it, but whatever. This prong broke off of blah blah blah. But sometimes you can just fix it, and they never know. So it's and there's plenty of guys there that are there with paint brushes.
Oh, sure.
Airbrushes, but you got to search them out. Not everybody knows everybody, so ask around.
That, and then the other thing is, we're getting to the point where everybody wants to light everything nowadays, especially with hardware.
Yeah. And
I would say to somebody that's in the building process of lighting, if you can avoid an actual boxy wall wart, please do that. Because if you got a wall wart that's like freaking huge, we've got strips and stuff, but you're only going to get so many of them on a 6 outlet strip, and
gonna have brownouts in Kentucky from Wonderfest at some point.
And I gotta, that is a problem I had with some fired up people. I think it was 2019, our last year before the pandemic. We had some people that were mega fired up that we didn't have enough fire strips, and nothing I can do about that. There's nothing I can do about that unless you bring your own, I guess. But it is starting to become a problem.
I will, from my time as a judge, I think I don't know, maybe 8 years. I can't remember, but I think Scott brought it up. Use that form to your advantage. Put down as much information on that form as you can. Not every judge is going to know every single kit. So like manufacturer, what it's made out of, if you changed anything. Like if you repositioned an arm, a judge might not know that. They might think that it came that way. Say you changed something. Say, what it is. Like a lot of times you're like, what is that? I've never seen that before. I don't know what that character is. There's room to write. Use that room. Don't just put Catwoman and that's it. It's
it gets missed. Yeah, and you also make a good point that not everybody can know everything about everything.
Right.
With
well,
and stuff.
Scott would beg to differ, but because I hear it every day.
It's just it's
well, cool. This has been great. Before we go, what are you working on? Can you share what you're working on? Is there any secrets? Anything you want to show? What are you doing?
What are you hobbying?
What I'm building? Yeah, what are you hobbying?
Just my moose. which is in giant pieces. Here's the other piece.
Very cool.
That's the and these two go together like this.
Who makes that?
Believe it or not, this is Weta Workshop, literally out of Australia. When I bought this kit, they had shipped it from Australia to Washington State, and it was in a warehouse, and it took me about a month to get it. It's the best rosin casting I think I've probably ever seen in my life.
So wait, Weta's doing kits?
Yeah. If you go to Weta Workshop, if you go to their website, now that's the only like hardware kit they do, but they do. Pretty sure they do a lot of just naked figures too.
Okay, I'll have to check that back out because I haven't been on their site in a while. Cool.
You can buy the painted stuff too. You know, it's already done. My wife's a big Ghostbusters fan, so we have they did a.
Oh my God! Then tell her not to watch episode. What was that? 30.
Scott doesn't like Ghostbusters.
we take a dump on Ghostbusters.
Oh,
he was.
It's a terrible movie. Terrible movie.
And he's probably going to say a lot of bad stuff about what he probably doesn't even know what Weta Workshop is.
Because I've heard run by Weta Workshop because they're part of that Lord of the Rings fiasco that you love. Okay. That snooze fest Lord of the Rings crap.
But Peter Jackson is a huge model guy. And so is Richard Taylor. So that's great to hear that Weta is doing kits. I love that idea.
I'm sure they do great work. Actually, I am sure they do great work. I would like to say, because no one's mentioning it, for those of you going to Wonderfest, your entry hours are Saturday, June 4th from 8 till noon.
Yes.
The price is $10 per first 2 models for adults with up to 8 additional entries free. So basically you can enter 10 kits for $10 if you wanted, according to that. Yeah.
So here's where that gets wonky.
Okay.
It says $10 for the first 2 kits.
So it's $20.
Yeah.
See, I can do math. Jason can.
Scott, does that seem wonky to you?
No, that's
no, it doesn't.
Okay,
so
it seems to me. It's
I just didn't read it right, but you're right. $10 per first 2 models, so that's $20.
Yeah,
and then after you do 2, you get 8 additional entries free.
Right. So
I think George is right because someone like me would go, "That's $10 for 2 models."
Well, because you're an idiot. Okay.
So am I, because I misunderstood it the first year.
Oh boy.
I'm like, oops.
So, and then once you said it and I went and thought about it, I said, oh, that's right. Okay. So for teens, it's $8 per first 2 models. And then again, the same 8 additional, and that's ages 13 to 19. So don't even try it, Jason. And anybody 12 and under enters for free.
I'm very youthful looking. What are you talking about?
But, and check out the contest room. Sometimes it gets crowded.
Right. And please
less crowded on Sundays. I will tell you that it's less crowded on Sundays. So,
yep.
I've been fortunate to be able to get in there after hours for years because I knew John and Drew. So and now I know George. So George, you've probably seen me in there 100 times after hours.
And he turns around and walks the other way.
And then most people do. Yeah. But I just like not being rushed. And I used to be one of those nuts that had to take pictures of them all.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And now it's like there's so many pictures online. I could care less about taking pictures anymore. I don't even bring a camera anymore.
I have my wife bring the Nikon. She takes pictures of everything.
Does she? Yeah, I used to do that and put them all on
like
discs, and it's like, yeah.
But, the thing that freaks me out though is after the fact, when it's over, when those pictures get posted, I'll stop and go through some of them, and as God is my witness, I'm like, I didn't see that.
Yep. Every year it happens. Every year.
Oh yeah, that does happen. That does
every time. And I'm really mad because it's like really spectacular, but it just happened to be something that I wasn't judging. I was off the other side of the room or whatever.
Plus, you're working. When you're working, it's hard to see.
Yeah.
It's any other changes to the contest? Like, are things in the same place? Time of the ceremony?
In the same place. Yeah. The one thing that I'm pleased about, I'm kind of pleased with myself about. I don't know if you guys saw it bug me for years, but my first year I took over the risers that I built, the pictures. that had to get done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told Davis, I'm going to need some money. I'm building some risers. I said, we got to get miniatures off the table, get them on risers,
Right, where
120
you can-
millimeter and smaller.
I love it.
Mhm.
I mean, back, I don't know, were you there when the contest was in the dealer's room? Did you ever see that?
Yes.
And
Yes.
how there was risers on that too, even for some of that to get some. I like that there was some up high that were right
Yeah.
there.
Well, and the other thing was matter of fact, that wasn't my first year running the contest. It was my second year. What happened the first year that made me do that is we found 4 or 5 miniatures that never got judged. We almost missed them because they were on a table. Like 2 of them we found were underneath a saucer on an Enterprise, which is like massively huge anyhow. And there's these 2 little like 90 millimeter figures that were really nice underneath. And Drew's like, dude, did you see those? I said, oh no.
And for those of you that don't know, miniatures is a category, even though I'm looking at the website right now and it's still not updated. But
Not on there? All right.
It's you're gonna have to get on their ass, George. But because I know I had PM'd you because someone had asked me.
Yeah.
But miniatures is a category. So
Yes. God, I can't believe it still isn't on there yet.
yeah. And
All right.
so I have a question, George. Is it standard procedure that you wait till 4 days before Wonderfest to ask somebody if they're bringing the special award, or is that just reserved for me when when they say, "Hey, you casting that award up?"
Here we go.
Are you talking about the Mike Parks Award?
Yeah, the Mike Parks Award.
Because
So,
you're gonna get that message later tonight when we got done here. I was
oh yeah, no, it's
Scott's
what's
using
funny
the
is
show for his personal beef airing. Like,
no,
Right.
it's funny because the first year it was a real crazy rush. Okay. And then I ended up running into material problems but I got it done. I got it done. And so then the second year, I figure at this point it's my baby because it's, I'm the one with the mold and everything. So the second year, Lee waits till like a week before Wonderfest and he's like, "Hey, you can do that, right?" And I'm like, and it was funny. I was sitting there and I was telling Jason and Steve at the time, I was like, wonder when they're going to call me and ask me, I wonder when they're going to call me and ask me about this. And I planned on doing it and then I think the next year was you got a hold of me and I was like, yeah, we're already worked out and we're good. And so, but it was funny because it was like, they waited till like the last minute, the first 2 years. And it was like, and the first year was a legitimate, they didn't know what to do. They didn't have molds. They didn't have anything. I had to borrow somebody's award, take it apart. I ended up screwing up the paint job on it. Thank God it was a guy that could paint and fix it. So he was really cool about it.
Yeah.
Shaky Dave actually is who it was. And then, so I was able to get his apart and mold it. And, no, man, we're good to go. We're good to go. Matter of fact, all I have to do is the 2 pieces are cast already. So I just have to do the other one. And
good. Cool.
So we're good to go. And I actually need to cast 2 because I need to cast a master because if it ever has to be remolded, we need a master. So
good idea.
This year,
ahead.
I'm going to cast 2. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I first took over, I'm getting my bearings, and I'm like, so I'm talking to John. I'm like, so, when do you deal with these, when do you deal with awards, the main awards, the contest? You got to worry out. Jason at the award center says like 10 days before. I'm like, oh no, no, that's not, no, I don't know. That is not how I work. I'm proactive.
I think actually you were the earliest. When you did ask me last year, I think you were the earliest to have asked me. I think I had like 2 or 3 weeks when you asked me.
I did a job that I retired from spent 27 years, that being proactive was everything. And if you got your ass in a bind and you were reactive, you regretted it for weeks. And that's just how I approach everything.
Yeah.
Don't get caught with your pants down, So yeah.
No, that's fun. I had to bust you guys up a little bit in that because it was funny. For about 2 years, it was like, all right, I wonder when they're going to call this year. And it's like, I know I'm going to make it, but it's like,
still, yeah, I get it.
Still, it's like, yeah, how far are we going to push that envelope? Because the 1 year, the first year, it was so screwed up that I was supposed to do the AFM class on Friday,
Ooh,
and I had to cancel because I ended up being home an extra day molding, so I could get that thing cast and paint.
holy cow.
And so I didn't come down till later on Friday, as opposed to I was going to come Thursday. So yeah, matter of fact, that was the year Steve and I literally painted it in my room. I primered it, and then basically I just primered black and highlighted up with the bronze like paint. But it's like Steve and I he's like, "You're gonna paint in the room?" I got tons of cardboard. We're gonna put cardboard everywhere. He's just it's gonna stink. Yep. And I'm like, I don't care. And yeah, with the first year we painted it in my room.
That sounds like a good time, actually. Huffing paint.
So
hotel room.
And it's only appropriate because Terry was telling us the story of Mike casting in the car and shit like that in the way to chiller and stuff like that. So it's only appropriate for Mike that's how that first year went. But
sounds like something Mike would do.
Yeah, but the last 2 years, no, I've gone down there with the finished product in the car.
Nice.
So
yeah, I switched over to lacquer 2 years ago, so I'd be in hell. That stuff's really rowdy.
It was. Well, it was. It was. I think it was just Krylon, so it was.
Oh, that's hardcore.
That was hardcore.
That's good stuff.
Wonderfest. You'll come down after a couple of days.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well,
or you'll crawl in bed with somebody, right, Jason? What?
Thanks for joining us. It's been awesome.
You guys
okay, what's how much time do people have to how many weeks till they have to complete their models?
Holy cow, are we down to what, 6 weeks?
6 weeks.
Well, this won't air till what, the 1st?
Friday.
Or the 15th?
It'll be Friday, 15th.
Okay, so as of today, which is
Today's
the 11th, we have 52 days, 3 hours, 28 minutes, and 46 seconds.
You're on the website.
Yeah. Believe it or not, George, I'm kind of prepared when I start this stuff. Okay. Not always, but sometimes.
Hey,
what do you know about the room block? Are they sold out, or did they add more? Because I know they were close.
Yeah, so the room block is sold out twice, and Dave had to go down and get more rooms. And as far as I know, the latest block is not sold out.
Okay.
This one sells out, they're done. He's got nothing else we can get. So
that's a good sign.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, that is a very good problem to have. So awesome.
Yeah.
Well, seriously, thank you so much. This has been just great. We should do this every year before Wonderfest on the show. Do a little contest update and
anytime. You guys are all right.
Yes,
you guys are exactly who I hope to be. This is like hanging out at Wonderfest. So.
Yeah, we'll grind on your nerves eventually, I'm sure. At some point.
I doubt it.
Jason will. And what? For those that don't know, Wonderfest is June 4th and 5th at the Crown Plaza, Louisville Hotel. There's a lot of stuff going on Friday the 3rd, though. A lot of painting classes, and there's even a computer. I saw a ZBrush class for, but it looked like it was more geared towards hardware guys at this point. But it still looked cool.
Fine. You could learn something no matter who you are at that.
It still looked cool. So that's the weekend. It's a great time. It's a great hotel. I still love the hotel. I miss the old bar, but I
do. Me too.
Everybody
the old bar.
Yeah. And the old paintings, it was like Scooby-Doo with all the guys, you were wondering if all the paintings were watching you and stuff. I mean, it had a charm to it back in the day. And the hotel's still fine, but it was a lot of fun back in the day.
A lot of things have lost their character.
Before the hardware guys took over,
the hardware guys.
We should mention real quick, George, because you are a hardware guy, that when Jason and I started going in 95,
right.
Okay.
Haven't missed a
the
show
hardware
yet.
Was almost nil. Okay. I mean, it was not a big thing. And it's just really, I'm venturing to guess you get 2 to 1 probably hardware to figures, maybe number wise.
Yeah, we do now. I'm glad you brought that up because I had a interesting conversation in my second year, Mark Havocan. And that seemed to be something he was worried about. And I told him, I said, look, I know how this contest started. exactly what you just said. I knew it
Mhm.
started out figures, and the hardware showed up. But like I told Mark, I said, I want you to understand. I want an equal amount of both because they're interdependent on each other. They truly are.
Yeah.
Um, I get a kick out of the fact that we put, like, our best year was 826 models, one genre, right? Sci-fi, horror, fantasy, all that stuff under one roof. And you compare that to like the Nats, IPMS Nationals, they do maybe like 2,500, but that's across a whole bunch of different genres. And that's why we're interdependent on each other. And I told Mark was on me kind of sort of about, your guys got to be harder on how these figures are judged. I said, there's a balance. I said, there's a balance. You have to be very careful. I said, I do not want to drive people away. I said, we need, for the figures and stuff. I said, my biggest fear, because I'm not a figure modeler, my biggest fear was don't screw that side up. Get somebody in there that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it was a good conversation, because I got to know him a little bit. And I had matter of fact, I had the same conversation with Mike Parks. Fortunately, it was only for 2 years. But, I got to know Mike a little bit too. And thank God. Thank God I did.
Oh yeah, Mike was a great guy. Great guy.
Oh, he's a trip, man. He was everything everybody told me he was, when I got to meet him.
Yeah.
And if I could tell you a really quick story.
For sure.
It turns out, Mike and Danya, right, living up in Columbus, it turns out one of their dearest friends was a close friend of mine that I went to high school.
Oh, wow.
It just come up in conversation. They're like, how do you know her? I said, I graduated from high school with her. And they're like, no way.
Hey, wait, we didn't even go over that. Where do you live?
Well, right now we live in Louisville.
You're in Louisville? Okay. So, all right.
I was raised in Pittsburgh, got transplanted to Ohio for 40 years.
We're sorry.
And then, yeah, I'll say. And then, the
Terry lives in that state. You don't want to be anywhere near that place.
Terry, that house ate Brian Clark.
CG Blade, Jamie Sy. What's with Ohio and there's a lot of people in Ohio that are into this stuff.
5 years ago, my wife got an opportunity to take a transfer down here to Louisville right about the time I was eligible for retirement. So goodbye.
So we were in the Columbus area, though, weren't you? You were in the area of.
I was northeast. I was up in Youngstown.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, about 50 miles from Cleveland and 70 miles from Pittsburgh. Right.
So Youngstown's pretty much on the border with Pennsylvania. If I'm not mistaken. Pretty close.
Yeah, 10 minutes out my front door. I'm in PA. Yep.
The teacher's making faces at me who doesn't know geography at all.
I was just going to say, look at Mr. Geography Whiz over here.
Yes.
Well, that's how we are that's how I am with Indiana. I'm 10 minutes.
Oh, but I bet you got your little Lord of the Rings map and know where the mountain is.
I do know where the Misty Mountain is. But I want to go back for 1 second before we go. For figure guys, and we're talking to you now, if you get mad that you see spaceships at the show, don't, because they're just as much of a misfit as you are with your Frankenstein monsters models. They're not welcome at they're looked at as weirdos at the other ones by the military guys, just as much as we're looked at as weirdos by those guys as well. And the fact that Wonderfest is a place for everybody, like you said, George, for all sci-fi, horror, fantasy, it's the same thing. That stormtrooper you're painting rides on that thing or rides in that thing. Like, it all goes together, and it's okay. It's great that there's a place for everybody. And it's changed a lot, and it's hard. It's shocking, but
I'm a figure guy. I like looking at the hardware.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Because I look at it and go, there's no way I could do that. Okay. Ever. Like when you look in the cockpits.
Let's be honest, you don't do a lot of modeling.
You see the lighting and the detail and stuff that if you're 3 feet away, you're not even going to see. But you're at Wonderfest, so you see it's lit. Well, why is it lit? And you get down there and you look at it and you go, wow, wow.
So my version of that was years ago. Somebody brought I think it was 1/6. I'm not sure, but it was a figure. It was Sean Connery from Indiana Jones, dressed as Henry Jones, with his hat and his little glasses and his umbrella. And I'm looking at that thing. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You kidding me? I was like you. I'm like, no way. I could never
Yeah.
do that. It's been 100 years and it would never look like that.
It's weird. That's
And-
how my brain.
Yeah.
It's the same way. Like for me I always think 3-dimensionally on a surface, and so the flat surface of like a spaceship or a car, I want to add shading or I want to do something, and I'm like,
Yeah.
nothing that looks right flat. And I'm like, no, that's not. And I painted a plane recently, and I think to me it just sucks because I can't just.
And I'll tell you,
yeah.
I wish we could draw some military guys in there.
No.
You know,
Get them out of
Oh,
there.
actually-
They have their own stuff.
No, but
actually-
the more the merrier. That's how I look at it.
Actually, I'll tell you a story. My Pittsburgh club, IPMS club,
Mm-hmm.
those guys are outstanding modelers. I was brought into that club because there was no sci-fi modelers there. And they average about 20 to 25 people at their meetings once a month, sometimes more. And my buddy from Wonderfest brought me in down there. And we were the only skiffy guys in there, only sci-fi guys, you know. And they were really cool. These guys are all right. They tease, they poke fun. 15 years later, they're bringing X-Wings. You know, they started down at, and these are guys, I'm telling you, these are guys that go to IPMS Nats, and they've won dozens of golds and first places, best of shows, you know. And our joke back to them was when they screw with us is how many Messerschmitt 109s can you build?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah.
Well, then we get the same thing. You know, how many Enterprises can you build? You know, this, that, and the other. But they're gifted modelers. Starting this year, last year, they come to their first Wonderfest. And they brought stuff. It was
Cool.
all sci-fi.
Yeah.
And they were silvers. It was silvers, their first attempts, and it's because they had a background in aircraft. You know, they went for the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
Other things. And they told me they had the time of their life.
And I think once people go to Wonderfest, they see that it's more of it's a fun atmosphere. It is not you gotta rivet count everything like you guys said.
Yeah. But yeah, I could not have been happier. Plus they found out we like to drink. So
Jason likes to drink.
that helps.
I do.
I like to drive him to drink.
It makes it makes the voices go away. That's all it helps.
If Wonderfest was a week long, he'd be doing crack cocaine. Okay.
There you go.
Well, seriously, thank you. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Okay. Thanks, fellas.
Take care, George.
Hi, George.
I'll talk to you
Thanks.
soon.
All right.
Wonderfest is almost here. I hope everyone has their entry ready. And I hope we see a lot of really cool stuff. And I really, after that, I hope everyone takes to heart. Yes, hardware has kind of taken over that contest quite a bit. But you know what? That doesn't mean we can't show up and bring stuff there as the figure guys. So knock it out of the park this year. Make them remember how that show started. It was a figure show, and
well, like we talked to George, they kind of need us. We kind of need them.
Yeah.
And I don't care as long as Wonderfest keeps going.
Right.
I don't care how many hardware guys are there, and I like my share. I have my share of some spaceship kits.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my share of, one thing we hardly ever touch on is show rods. And I was a big Tom Daniels fan. I think that started with Hot Wheels as a kid and the Red Baron car. And that was a Tom Daniels design. And so Tom Daniels did a lot of the iconic 60s show cars. The Paddy Wagon, the Red Baron, the Beer Wagon. Trying to think of some other ones. The Dragon Wagon, Rommel's Rod. Okay, so all of those. I'm surprised you don't have that one, actually.
I have a rod. Not Rommel.
It's a German half track with 2 skeletons in it. Okay. And so it's that was always one of my favorites, actually. I've seen some really nice build-ups. And Tom Daniels has a website, actually. I believe he's still alive and will autograph prints as well. But love Tom Daniels stuff. I always have. So I'd like to see there's got to be some of you out there that have build-ups. Send them up to us. Show us in the gallery. And I love figure kits. Don't get me wrong, but I like to see hardware out there too. I wouldn't mind seeing. Have we gotten any hardware gallery stuff?
I don't think so.
Maybe we need to get some hardware guys on here.
Yeah.
Have Iverson on again. Well, we can wake him up. We'll have Steve come on again. Yeah, Steve's in Chicago this week for the Star Trek.
Oh, that's right. That was last weekend.
Thing. Yeah, and Takai was there and Shatner. So I wonder.
I told you, I texted you about it. We could have got our.
Well, yeah, I
picture
know, but man, Takai and Shatner, that would have been funny.
Yeah,
seeing them pass each other in the hallway.
All right, voicemails, emails, and corrections. All right, here's our voicemail, Scott. We have 3 of them. The first one came in the day we recorded the last time, so it's been sitting on here for a while. And the funny thing about this is when you get Google Voice, it'll transcribe the voicemail that is left, and the transcription of this email or this voicemail is so different than is what is actually said that I have to read it afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and play it. Here we go. The Joker has returned.
Hello, this is the Joker. I was wondering, will Scott ever honor that favor that he's promised me when he tried to run me off the road all those years ago because he had a pizza pocket in his hand and wasn't paying attention? Shame on you, Scott, and shame on you for not being home when I come calling for my favor. I'll see you soon, Scotty. Bye.
That's a good Joker. All right, but now I have to read this to you. Here we go.
Okay.
Should I read it in a Joker voice? No.
No, please. Okay. You can barely read it.
Hello, this is Joker. I was wondering. All right, I'll start. Hello, this is Joker. I was wondering, will Scott even honor that favor that he promised me when he tried to run me off the road all those years ago because he had a piece of pocket in his hand and wasn't paying attention? Shame on you, Scott, and shame on you for not being dead. Oh, when I come calling for life paper. I'll see you soon, Scotty dog. What? So I see this before I listen to the voicemail, and it's all I see is shame on you for not being dead.
Yeah.
And I was like, Scott's got cancer. Like, what the hell? What is going on?
Scott's got cancer. Shame on him for not being dead. And
I was like, oh my God. And then when I listen to it, it's nothing like that. So, oh my God, shame on you for not being dead. I think if we make t-shirts.
Shame on you for not being dead.
That's our t-shirt. Shame on you for not being dead, Model Club TV. So, Joker, thanks for calling in again. I appreciate it. I think Joker's friend calls in at the end here. The next one is from
I had an idea I was talking to George after our interview.
Yeah.
And I had an idea for a hardware guy's shirt. And it would be size matters. And then on the back, to hardware guys.
Stop fucking telling people these ideas, dude.
Okay.
Just do them.
I'm an idea guy.
You are an idea guy. You're not an action guy. That's all right. We have
Actually, for those of you waiting, I do have my quote for the Big Galuna, and hopefully within the next couple of weeks, I'll be sending that to a molder and caster.
Dude, that should have been in news and reviews.
I forgot. Sorry.
Oh God. So now this is going to be buried back in here. All right.
Who cares?
From
CG
CG
don't bother me.
That's true. So from CG Blade, we have another voicemail.
Hold on. Let me get my pillow.
Uh-oh. Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that.
All right. Let me start this out by if I see Scott falling asleep.
Okay, good.
During this little thing here, I'm going to have a surprise for him at Wonderfest.
Uh-oh, a surprise, Scott.
If you act like you're falling asleep during this, I am going to give you a surprise that you'll never forget.
I don't know if I want that surprise.
Okay, let's start this out by, you showed us a picture of the Terminator from 1996.
96?
So was that the last time you actually painted, Scott?
Was that the last time you painted?
Was that it?
No, we'll discuss it.
You're showing us a picture of a model, and it was 96. Is that it? I mean, I just don't get it. But maybe the rest of the world does. So here is my top 10 movies
top 10
of all
list.
time.
In 1
from
minute?
1968, 5 Million Years to Earth. and that was the American title, and the English title of it was Quartermass in the Pit. If you haven't seen it, you can get it at Amazon. It is a fantastic movie and is one of Hammer's best films that they ever put out before they started their bloodbath. The other 9 movies are all John Carpenter movies, and and like I listed in the comment section, on this 43rd anniversary podcast, it's the slap fest at the Oscars, the movie that's going to come out. So I'm going to give that one a high rating before it even comes out. So both you guys take care, and I'll see you in like a month and a half or something like that. Take care, and remember, wherever you go, there you are.
All right.
I like his bloodbath. Before the bloodbath.
But he answered a question for me because I had this vague memory as a child of this alien movie with grasshoppers, and it's that movie. And now I know. Now I need to go back and like rewatch because I always just remember like, why were these grasshopper insect? What movie? I thought I dreamed it, and then there it was. That was it.
That was it, huh? You sure for you it wasn't Bug's Life?
Anyway, so 96. That was your a Terminator.
96 when I Terminator. No, I have painted since then, and I've showed it 100 times. It's right up here. Is this Jaeger quarter scale creature from the Black Lagoon that I did at Wonderfest boot camp? I want to say in 2017, maybe. So,
all right. Our last voicemail. Oh, real quick, he said his the rest of his movies are John Carpenter movies. I'm going to recommend a podcast to everybody. On YouTube, Red Letter Media. I watch that thing. They are the best. They're up in Milwaukee or Wisconsin or somewhere, and they talk about movies all the time, and they're hilarious. They're really big Star Trek fans. Scott, one of the guys is. Two of them are. But they did a whole 2-episode series of ranking every John Carpenter movie, and it's really well done. Everyone, please check out Red Letter Media. They have thousands upon thousands of followers, so they don't need our help, but I don't think a lot of us know about them. So please, Red Letter Media, watch them. And finally, I think the Joker's friend Pennywise called.
Yes, I have a comment. This is Pennywise the Clown. Does Scott want to float a boat with me? Or Jason? Or Trevor? Or Robert Truck? We all float down here. Bye, you guys.
Okay. There's a voice at the end. We need someone to identify that voice.
I think I have an idea now.
Okay.
But
I'm going to read this.
Is?
Hold on. Let me read this transcript too. Yes, I have a comment. This is Pennywise the Clown. To Scott, much float a boat with me, or chasing or travel, or Robert Truck. Oh no, down here. Are you guys home? That's what All right, who do you think it is?
I think it's our friend, my doppelganger, Neil DeConte.
That's what I think too. And if that is, that's well done, Neil. Well done. All right, voicemails. Thanks for sending those in, guys. And we have a couple emails. First,
is there a number for voicemails? Maybe if
voicemails.
Who runs this fucking thing?
Me.
Okay.
Voicemail 708-816-4299. 708-816-4299. Leave us a voicemail.
Did you choose that one on purpose because it had 42 in it?
I did. And then for emails, it is modelclubtv@gmail.com. modelclubtv@gmail.com. All right. So I alluded to this earlier. In the gallery, we have Vlad Petnicki and a collab, if you will, like all the young rap artists with Bill Monster Jones. There's a Spinosaurus that's going to be in there and some Godzilla stuff. So there's some cool stuff in there. And check it out. He sent us, I got the pictures here. I got all that. We're running a bit long.
It's not my fault.
We're not.
Look, man, you can't control your woman. That ain't on me.
And our first official email.
Ever?
Well, no. I'll start this. This kind of sums it up.
Sums it up.
So from Vlad Pitnicki.
Just gonna let that go. Sums it up.
Yeah, I am. So
Late here, folks.
This from Vlad Pitnicki describing the kits in the gallery. These 2 big puppies for now. Going to give Bill 2 more kaiju commissions. Oh my! I don't care. All right. Brian Clark. Hi guys, I was watching episode 43 and I have an issue with Scott's comment about my comments on his painting. I did not say he has never painted anything. I said that I have not, having seen most of his work, I would like to see more of it. I know you are a good painter. However, all I have seen is your Godzilla and the Terminator. Both are cool. I just want to see more, as I am sure others would as well. That being said, kick rocks for the attack on my character. In regards to that, Jason, how can you say I'm an ungrateful and agree with the human Moby Dick you work with? Not only was I very grateful, I sent, I believe, 3 thank you emails and also asked you to wait till Wonderfest to save you some shipping. You shook your head in agreement like I was a lemming, like the lemming you are to Scott's Pied Piper. I had higher expectations for you. Just like my students, you have let me down. I cannot wait to see you guys at Wonderfest and kick your asses. Love the show. See you soon. I had to run this thing through the Sasquatch translator in Google, so it was like I could understand it, but all right.
So let me if I could piggyback on this. Okay. Mr. Clark posted on his Facebook page the other day, and he was working on a model of something. It's hard to tell what it is with the paint he put on it. And well,
That's him. That's him.
That's him. That's him.
That's him.
Okay, wait a minute.
That was that guy. That was not me. I did not say that, and I do not agree with that.
Oh, here it is. So he was painting a base, and he wrote a little painting session this afternoon. Came out pretty nice. Finally got the airbrush to work. Guess I should actually clean it. Who knew? So again, this is just an example of what a Neanderthal he is. Okay. So David Keller comments and says the instructions when you took it out of the box said clean after use. Well, I can't resist that. Somebody sets something up on the rim like that for me, I'm going to dunk it.
It's like a T-ball.
Okay.
It's like right there.
Yeah. So I responded, David Keller, he doesn't read. He's your basic house ape. And then Dave wrote back, hired to be an English teacher, and made a crazy emoji, which I replied, yeah, go figure. And then Dave replied again, who needs English? I'm never going to England. Raya or Homer Simpson. Okay. So Mr. Clark responded to us and said, wow, you two having a conversation is awe-inspiring. It's like watching 2 monosyllabic superstars attempt communication. Whatever. Oh, communicatio. Sorry, he didn't spell that right either, and I didn't call him out. Okay, attempt communicatio. Maybe you can learn sign. Maybe you can learn sign language like Bobo. See, notice how we go back to the ape. I'm just saying.
Okay. All right.
So then I responded to him, I can understand you are in awe of us. Who wouldn't be?
No, that's true, though. Yeah. That's true.
So take that, you ungrateful bastard.
I don't agree. All right. Dan Cherney. Yeah. Dan Cherney sent a pretty good email as well. Again, Dan, we hope you're doing well, and this brings you some joy. Dear gentlemen, guys, folks, or whatever you call yourselves today. He said,
we pretty much can identify what jerks are. So if we were ever in a Senate hearing and they said, do you know what a jerk is? I could definitely say, I sure do. Yeah. He's right there. He's right there. Okay.
Oh, man.
So there you go.
All right. I have a serious question that I've been wondering about my whole life. I'm going to be 64 years old this year, and I'm a veteran modeler since I was originally owned the first issue Aurora long boxes. Like most of the viewers of the show, my passions have always been with models of figures, sci-fis, monsters, cartoons, assorted pop culture stuff. During my younger years, I spent some time in model clubs obsessed with tanks and airplanes. I entered the hobby shop contest with Jeeps, army figures, and ships. I pen palled with kaiju lovers, diorama makers, and more tank fanatics. I spent the time being a member of IPMS on all of those situations while filling a small part of my modeling social void. Left me feeling alone and a bit misunderstood. I get all that, I really do. But now I am seeing more of the world of miniatures, which seems to at least have more in common with my likes that former groups. Plus, I find myself slack-jawed and shocked with amazement to see what miniature artists are doing with their hobby with paint and building. The internet shows painting a building examples that make many of our beloved ranks pale in comparison, especially taking into account the scale. Yet, the wall between us figure modelers and the miniature guys seems as wide as the rift between IPMS and your show. My question is, why is there a rift? What the figure modelers and the miniature artists could learn and share with each other is immense. Why is there a rift? From someone who really wants to know. I think we have so much to learn from each other. All right. My take, because I started out a miniature painter and then a garage kit guy and then kind of back to miniatures. I think it's a generation thing. I think it's a Gen X thing. Like miniatures started in the 70s. Well, you had classical like army painter guys, like boomer generation. But when it came to like Dungeons and Dragons and fantasy, that's a 70s and onward.
Yeah, that started late 70s, right?
Yeah. So
Dungeons
I
and
think
Dragons.
it's a lot of guys my age. So it just never. And then the people who are in the garage kit, like we've talked about, are boomers who are sci-fi B-movie guys, classic monsters, that sort of thing. And I think that's where the rift is, that the miniature guys don't want to paint the subject matter and the garage kit guys don't want to paint. I think it's changing though. I think there is some of the garage kit guys are starting to bleed back over. Like what I showed today, that's a miniature technically, but it's a garage kit because it's an anime figure. I think so much could be learned from the miniature guys when you do look, and I hope, and this goes to the contest, I hope no one takes this the wrong way, but a lot of our stuff looks like toys in comparison to what they do. It looks like Renaissance painting compared to what some of our guys do. And it's I think everyone, if you don't, please get out of this garage kit bubble, go on Instagram and just type in hashtag miniature painting or hashtag Citadel or Games Workshop or any of that stuff and look at what some of those guys do. It's like,
late.
It's please go and look at that stuff. And again, if you're a miniature painter and you found us, we love to have you here because you're my people. But there's big scale stuff you could apply all of that knowledge to and make it look awesome. So, Scott, do you have a thought on that as well?
Well, and we touched on this with George a little bit in the interview as well. And so the style of painting, there's a lot of the same techniques, but the way you apply them is different on the miniatures. And I would like to touch into the, and again, we've talked about it before when we went to that hobby expo and the work we saw there. Now there was a lot of military stuff.
And that was the World Figure Painting Contest or competition. I forget what the name, World Figure Hobby Expo thing. Yeah,
but we came back from that after a fun train ride on the way home. But we came back from that and I dared go to the clubhouse and kind of challenge garage kit guys and say, hey man, we got to up our game. And, you know, a lot of guys got offended at that. And it wasn't that I'm cutting down garage kits, but, and I'll recommend a Facebook group to people. I think it's called, crap. What is it? The Weathered
Models.
Weathered Models. And it's mostly military stuff, most of it. Dude, sometimes you see that stuff and it looks like real shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll recommend at bust, the at symbol and bust.
Uh-huh. And you know, again,
anyone notice every time I talk he yawns?
I can't help it.
God.
Well, because it's like you're yawning. So it's like he talks and I go, ugh. So it's when you play with your beard, it makes me yawn.
Okay.
So anyway, I think you're right. A lot of it's generational. And a lot of the boomers grew up, and a lot of the garage kid guys have the same story as we always see. We go into, you start with Aurora, and then you kind of grew up, and then you started buying some reissues, and then you started looking around, and then you saw garage kits, and then Wonderfest came along. So I mean, it's the same progression.
Yeah.
And so you are kind of an anomaly that you want miniatures and yeah.
I want people to just try it. Go look at some of that stuff, and I want everyone likes to call themselves an artist in our hobby until they have to do an artist thing and critique their work, or have someone else critique their work and tell them, hey man, it's not as good as you think it is. It looks like a toy. You need to go and look at what some of those other guys are doing that really, understand how paint works and understand how light works. And not to sound like a snob, but people need to really, and this goes into the Wonderfest contest. We need to up our game. And you said it and caught flack for it, but it's true. And I hope people don't take offense to what I'm saying. It's what we talked about with George. It's a learning thing. Go there to learn. Go and look at that. Go and look at what people are doing and ask them how they did it. And if they're not willing to tell you, go find someone else and say, how did they do that? And they can maybe help you. Like, come on, we gotta really up that game. If anything, please. Otherwise, this is gonna die, and you're only gonna have miniature stuff. But anyway,
well, and again, we talked about it with George, the separation of the sci-fi guys and the figure guys are looked at in IPMS and all that. And so the best way to close that separation is to close that gap.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not busting on figure kit guys at all. There's some really talented guys out there. Okay. But if you're going to go to IPMS shows with figures and stuff, man, up your game, make it something they look at and go,
they go, holy crap.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And the military guys, not so much, because a lot of the military guys probably are boomers as well.
Yeah.
But that's just their thing is military. But
and I think there's some, I think, how we were talked with George, how there's the snobbery of the IPMS guys on us, on the sci-fi fantasy horror guys. And I think there's some snobbery from our group towards the miniature guys. And I've never felt that from the miniature groups when I go to those shows. It is and you witnessed it. People bring their painting tables, and they sit down and they all sit there and paint together in tables in the back room. And the figure kit guys, that doesn't.
Well, I hate to say it, even at Wonderfest, the hardware guys used to, before they made that dealer's room B. Remember when that was just the open swimming pool and they had pinball machines in there, and you'd walk through there late at night on Saturday, and there'd be guys building models and talking, and I don't know if they still do that somewhere. I know there's an Iron Modeler thing they do. So,
all right, it's getting late. We hope everybody enjoyed today's episode, our April Fool's episode. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to our winners. Thank you to the people that entered. Thank you to George for coming on and taking a chance with us because he had no clue what he was getting into. So
I had no clue what mess he was walking into.
Yeah.
And your name thing still says Jamie Jennings. I'm just.
Oh, son of a bitch.
And I'm not recording this again.
It don't matter. None of this matters.
Well,
See you later.
I have a Brian Clark mug that I drink of.
Good night, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Or good day, whenever you're watching this.
Yeah, hurry up. I got to pass gas. I don't want it to come out on the camera.
first official voicemail of the day. The other ones were descriptions.
I
Ryan
see.
Clark.
The first official voicemail of the day.
Yeah, or I mean email. I'll start over. Dude, it's 11:30 at night. I've been up
Not my
since
problem.
6:30.
Whatever. You wanted to do this.
It was
tonight.
your fault. I had no choice. All right.
Could have done it tomorrow.
No, I have one day to edit that. All right.
So it's not like
Stop talking.
Wait. Someone edits this?
Oh my god.